DFCRadio.com.
The cannabis portion of this show is designed as entertainment only for legal medicinal cannabis patients over 21 years of age and is not meant to encourage any other activity or use. Yeah, dick.
Oh, yeah. Talking about the Heavy T Road Show. Knowing someone better than your show. And everybody knowing this whole show. Yeah. Talking about the Heavy T Road Show.
This is fantastic.
People, are you ready? Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Don't worry about the president. He can't stop us.
What is? This show is now more expensive because of tariffs on steel and aluminium. I didn't know aluminium was European for aluminum. Did you? Horty Chris, did you know?
Yes.
In your user manual for your leased S400 5000 Audi, did it say anything about excessive aluminium?
No, it just said that all the body panels are made of aluminium.
And that how many LED grow lights do they use for the headlights?
9 per side.
And that's equal to
3 million Gavitas.
Yes, about 12 Gavitas per headlamp, right? You can see Horty Chris's car from space. In fact, and check it out. I talked earlier or in the pregame about we got My Blue Dove Blue Sherbert here. My Blue Dove from Mission Brands. That's Mission Nurseries. Go to mybluedove.com. Licensed and in compliance with all state regulations and laws. But this is a bud-only pre-rolled blue sherbet. Who's going to light this up? My main man? Jiggity Jerome?
No shit, man.
Test this out, bro. Tell me how that pairs with your Miller Lite. Anyways, we got a good show for you tonight. Of course, we have at the end of the table my co-host, my compadre, the thief that stole the van, Horty Chris. What up?
Hola.
How you doing, Horty?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You still bowling 300s?
Nah.
No.
I bowled a couple 200s the other night, though.
Yeah? You've got a money game going every week now.
The Saturday thing.
Yeah?
Yep.
Tell us about it.
It's just a thing called the color of money. They put different colored pins in the deck, and if you get them
You win
aligned
some
in a certain
Paul
way, you
Newman
win
salad dressing?
Yeah, you win salad dressing and LED lights. You win Black Dog LEDs if you get a strike.
Oh, Mr. Chris, this is Julie from Shenzhen. And
Are you interested by
you want to buy
double-ended
number one selling LED on all in the market?
100 watt replace 1,000?
And be like, no, I don't want to buy my LEDs from someone that hasn't learned to brush their teeth yet, Julie. With all due respect, black gum disease has been eradicated in the United States for at least 50 years. Until you eradicate it there, I'm not buying my LEDs from you. That was bad, wasn't it? Anyways, over here we also have Jiggity Jerome. What's up, Jiggity?
That shit's too funny, man.
I know, too much sauce, Hans.
They eliminated the gum disease when Listerine came out, right?
No, I hope so.
Shit.
I hope so. But what's good with you?
I don't know. A few hundred transplants and another day, another no dollar.
Hey, listen, I'm going to bring this up on the air because we talked about it today, and I know that this is not a solicited plug or anything, but we were at the Cerritos Hydro Customer Day, and we were promoting stuff back in April, and you received a couple bottles from our buddies Emron and Fareed at Love Trees, and you actually had a chance to try their Cal SI Mag. Is it Cal Mag SI or
Cal SI Mag.
it's
Cal
Love
SI
Trees?
Mag.
I know it was CalMag with silica in my mind when I got it.
Right.
But the funny part about it is when we were using it at first, and I told him this, we were using the Vitalize in conjunction. He's like, oh, maybe too much silica, but I was still treating it like, the other CalMags
Cody's
I would
dead.
use 1 to 2 mils per gallon. But once I laid off the Vitalize, I would use it by itself, and I ramped it up now in the early part of flower to about 6-7 mils per gallon.
Oh yes.
And kept everything else the same. I think actually the only other thing I changed was I started using the Snoop enzyme. It contains 1% cellulase to break down the cellulose. That
Did you do
builds
the
up on
enzyme
roots.
test? What's the enzyme test on a paper towel? Is that what you recommend?
I've always done it with just an apple slice.
So for the listeners, because we've seen it on hydro shops, social medias and stuff, an enzyme test, what is it supposed to determine and how do they do it?
Well, a digestive enzyme is to break down the sugars that the plant is actually producing that starts to secrete through the roots, and it builds up on the roots, which, basically clogs up, in layman's terms, the surface area of the roots to absorb. So when you break down this and you slice up the apple, typically you want the apple slices about equal, and just do the recommended dosage. You can do the high range and low range for each one and just dilute it by the gallon, just
So
as the bottle says.
Let's get to it. The faster the better that the apple dissolves.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want from our enzyme. So did you try that with the Hyzyme?
I haven't yet, but you use a lot less, I've noticed, in comparison to other products that have the same percentage of cellulase in it. Or cellulose, sorry. No, cellulose.
I don't know.
Cellulase breaks down cellulose.
I don't know, bro.
This is,
I don't use any of that
this
shit.
is an exhilarating conversation.
Hey, either way, I've seen some really good results so far, so I'm going to continue the runs on those. But
The Hyzyme with the CalMag SI.
I told him it takes a lot for me to reach out to somebody over a bottle of fucking CalMag, let alone anything else, and say something. But that's literally all I've really changed.
Well,
So
and I'll tell you, looking at the price point, and look, Love Trees is not a sponsor of our show in any way or fashion, and Emron has been a friend of mine personally in the industry for a long time, and I've carried and sold their products for over a year, and you may have never heard it mentioned here on the show, at my shops, basically. And when Jerome came and he talked about it, and then he showed me some of the results of what's going on, the availability of silica mixed with the CalMag and the price point. When people are looking to get their number down on their nutrient mix, this thing can replace a lot of stuff. And if it turns out, listen, you're at a point right now, and I know where you're at, that the jury is still out. We got to wait for those lights to turn off and them to be hanging to realize that you got 37 pounds of light rather than 36.5, right? But speaking on where you're at right now, shit is looking good.
Oh, absolutely. And the price points is relatively more expensive than most CalMags, but you got to look at it as I'm already purchasing liters of different salicylic acids, let's say anywhere from a range of $150 to $250 a bottle, which a liter will do about 500 gallons typically of feed. When I could spend about that much on a 5-gallon of this, and a little bit more, but
Or you can just send a DM in the Instagram and get it for free.
I mean, that
You'll
day.
be reimbursed, Heavy T.
Hey, before I even left that day, I actually went up to him and I was like, what, just let me see a liter, let me try it on a few plants, and I've seen a big difference. Growing specifically the plants that I did
Is
this
it
on
only as a
strain.
root drench or are you full you're feeding?
I'm just feeding it in. I'm just replacing my CalMag, which is Botanicare CalMag, with the CalMag SI, and I'm just running the normal recipe as I'm doing it, and I've gradually increased it from about 2 to 7 mils now, and this would be the 3rd week of bloom. So it's we'll see.
Well, you know what it's supposed to look like, and you've seen dramatic results is what I'm getting to. And I just want to give that tidbit to the listeners because, listen, there's people that associate with our show, support our show. Love Trees does support our show. They don't monetarily support us. Yeah. But as friends and stuff, we're going to give an unbiased report on their product. And if it was dog poop, we're probably going to say it's dog poop, with all due respect.
It's a great product. I mean, there's a lot of products I'll mention on this show that we have no
I have not
affiliation
tried it
with.
yet. Let me give that disclaimer, though. Someone's like, yeah, T, try this. Yeah, for sure, player. I know what I need. I need some Terpinator and some of my stuff to pay the bills. You dig?
See, I'm always trying to cut costs, you know, and if you're growing it as a connoisseur grade or just for yourself, it's a little different what you're willing to put into the plant, but on a large scale, you know, I'm not the owner of the facility, but in any business, people are trying to lower their costs of operation, but also trying to get a very good and high quality product is another high end, you know, thing that people need to realize is like, it's not that we're cheaping out, but at the end of the day, we're trying to achieve the best results on as little as money as possible. And, you know, it's sad to say some products are gimmicks out there.
Now, some people like Horty sold his samples. And there were giveaways on Htgs Grow Show. No, straight up though, I'm glad that you gave us a report in a few weeks. I want to know more about what's going on. There's the Love Trees Cal Mag SI that we're talking about. But now it's time to talk grow with you, right? Let's go up to Oregon, the PNW, Gabriel. What's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty well, dude. First caller of the night. What's up with you?
Sweet. So, super nervous here. So anyway, kind of found you guys a few weeks ago, and I've listened to about 6 months worth of podcasts in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's binging. That's binging. And you actually still wanted to call in. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hey, yeah. So my questions kind of, don't beat me up on this, but
Chris.
they kind of are about growing, but I'm not currently interested in using. So
you got a friend you're calling for?
Sorry, what?
You got a friend you're calling in for?
Well, kind of, but not really. So I started a vegetable patch, and literally vegetables, and my mother-in-law, who has severe rheumatoid arthritis, was over, and she's like, hey, can you grow me something else? And I was like, yeah, sure.
As a matter of fact,
So
I listen to Heavy Tea Grow
I
Show.
bought 4x4 tent. I bought some LEDs, which I just found out are crap.
No.
Not all LEDs
And-
are crap, just most of them.
No, I bought the crap ones, I'll admit.
I love the candor, Gabriel.
So got the 4x4 tent, started listening to you guys, went and got a 1,000-watt APS or HPS. Don't have a ballast for it yet, so it's going to be in the 4x4 to start with the LEDs, and from what I've gathered, that should be okay for veg. I have a DWC bucket kit, which I'm going to throw on the shelf because I found out that was the wrong way to go, too. So that's up on the shelf until I actually learn what the hell I'm doing. So I was going to do, I kind of like the idea of cocoa in fabric pots. And then basically that's kind of where I'm at the moment. If you have any more questions, I've got a few other notes here as what I'm thinking of doing.
Hold
and I
on,
just
hold
kind of
on.
wanted some tips.
Okay, Gabe, you had all kinds of statements, but I did not catch a question in there.
Oh,
All right,
my question is,
you actually
how can I
answered all
make-
your questions about your lighting and
Yeah,
your
you need a
different
job.
systems.
We're hiring over here.
You're already doing better than Duffman.
So basically my question is, how can I produce the best medical grade, I guess, or the best stuff for my mother-in-law without actually using it? What can I look for to make sure that I'm not off the beaten path? Obviously, I'm going to continue listening with you guys.
I'm going to throw out one thing, Horty and Jerome, and you guys take it from here. To be the most successful off Jump Street as a newbie, uniformity, monocropping it with one, maybe two strains, and I'm sure that you've heard us talk about this, so you have the same growth patterns, the height patterns, maturity patterns, things all come to fruition in a single unit that's a lot easier to deal with. Off Jump Street, limiting the number of genetics that you have in your grow is going to help you be way more successful. Horty, I know you have takes on how to be successful as a newbie.
Just keep it simple. Maybe start out with soil in the beginning. That way you don't have to worry about.
He said cocoa. You think soil?
Cocoa would be fine too. Either one, just because it's a little easier to do. And also, though, with a 4x4 tent, I probably wouldn't do 1,000 watts in that. That's a lot of power because you're not going to fill it all the way out to the walls. You're probably going to grow in about a 3x3 area to leave yourself a few inches around the edges to keep the plants off of the walls. So I'd probably run like a 600 in there. It'd also be a lot easier to keep it cool. 1,000 watts is going to be almost double the energy produced and double the heat over a 600. So
He said he didn't have a ballast yet.
Right,
so
right.
I wonder what did he buy? The hood and the bulb?
he probably just got a bulb.
Or the
It
hood?
was a Craigslist special, and the guy kind of let's just say maybe he was experiencing too much of his own stuff,
Okay.
which was great, but didn't come with everything I needed. So I just bought it and then started playing around with it.
So what do you have, Gabe? You have a hood,
Yeah, I've got the hood.
You
and
have a
two
light bulb.
bulbs.
right? So we can get a smaller light bulb and a comparable ballast.
yeah.
What about one of those turbo ballasts from Sunlight or a dimmable ballast, OG ballast from Nanolux?
Yeah.
I was looking at the OG from Nanolux, and I really like the NCCS because I won't be able to monitor and be as close to it as I'd like. So the remote access is really nice.
Yep.
So I was actually looking at that, and I like the OG Nanolux because you can actually dim it down. I thought 1,000 was a lot, but I was going to use some fans and try to make sure I extracted as much heat as possible.
You're just never going to get it below what the outside temperatures are.
Does he
during
have
the
an
summer.
air-cooled hood? Do you have a glass on your hood, or is it just
Yep,
an open
yeah.
reflector?
It's air cooled.
That'll help keep the heat out. You also want to put a dust room on that air cooled hood to keep the glass and everything clean, so that you don't have to keep taking the glass off to clean all
Don't
the
get a
dust and dirt
knockoff.
out.
Get the one that's a Horty control.
There is no knockoffs out there. Just
I was looking at it.
yeah, get a dust room, put it on the intake side of that.
Yep.
But you're also going to need another fan to exhaust the actual air that's in the tent, because you're still going to create heat from the actual hood heating up.
I would
Okay.
recommend a fan like a 6-inch dimmable or a 4-inch fan, something around 150 to 250 CFM max. But if you're at 250, you're probably going to have to dim it down a little bit with a motor control because the sides of your tent will start to suck in.
And
Okay.
but listen, you're like I said before, you're not going to get it below the temperature that is outside of your grow tent without air conditioning. And we're talking about not using air conditioning. So get a dimmable. If you already have the bulb, you're trying to ball on a budget. It sounds like I could hear the little minions in the background running around waiting to get everything set up. So get an OG ballast and dim that thing down to 600 during the summer. Without an air conditioner, you're not going to run it at 1,000
And he said he has an
watts.
AC in the room.
Okay.
So you're going to have to you'll be able to circulate some of that cooler air into the tent, but you're going to probably have to keep the room a little bit cooler than, like, say 75. You might have to keep the room 65 to keep the heat equal in the room.
Now, remember, when you flip your plants into bloom, they're going to grow another 12 to 18 inches. And in a tent, you're really limited by the height. Most tents are 6 to 7 feet at the most, unless you have a Gorilla Grow tent with an extension, but those are costly. And even though they're awesome, most people aren't growing in those. So if
no, I have one of the
if
smaller
you are going to run a 1,000-watt light, the closest you really want those plants getting to that light is about 24 inches before they start burning or they have an adverse effect on your trichome production. And so,
You're going to put them on the floor of the tent, and you're going to flip them into bloom a lot quicker.
yes, and expect them to grow 18 inches after that. I would put a full 6 plants in there, and if I needed to weed a couple out to make sure that the rest of them grew to their full potential, that's what I would do.
Top the plants in the beginning, bush them out, and if you from a bird's eye view, when about 2/3 of the 4x4 tent is full of foliage, that's a good time to flip into bloom. Don't wait until you've got a complete canopy and then flip, because they're going to stretch and fight each other, and you're going to end up stripping off a bunch of stuff at the bottom, and your plants are going to be all up in your lights. So when about 2/3 of the canopy from a bird's eye view has plant foliage, flip it to bloom. You'll probably, with 6 plants in that on the floor with 1,000 watts stuck to the top of that tent, you're probably going to go to bloom at about 12 to 14 inches tops.
Okay. And then
And then you just need that experience, Gabe. We have the experience that we're going to try to push into everyone's mind tonight, like we do every Wednesday from our experiences. But until you actually get your hands dirty, that you're not going to be able to really understand completely what we're saying. But as things come, you listen to the show, you call into the show. We are We're here for your support to make all of the listeners, including you, as successful as possible. That's what we want. We want people to grow their own the world over.
Sweet. One quick question. Do you know anything about the Amnesia strain?
Yeah, that'll.
I forgot.
A lot of people in Holland grow it, and all the weed in Holland is stuff. So, with all due respect.
All right, so that's what I was looking at first. So you guys have a recommendation for a strain that's better for medical usage?
Amnesia is fairly easy to grow, and it's fairly easy to control the pruning and the structure of the plant. Look at like a hybrid.
Something with high CBD.
Well, if that's what
That's
you
what
want,
I'm
is
saying.
you want a high CBD. Well, go ahead and give a recommendation.
I mean,
Jiggity.
there's a lot of different ones that are coming out now. You could legally order online and have them shipped to you anything that will test below, I think it's below 0.03 or 0.06% THC. And a lot of these CBD or hemp strains, you could find them, I think, different companies from Kentucky.
My hemp pair of Adidas tests higher than that for THC.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the highest CBD ones that I've seen are typically around 10%.
The one I was
CBD.
looking at comes from Europe, and Oregon actually legalized, so I don't really have any issues there.
Right.
Well, go ahead and grab those, pop them. You got to remember, unless they're feminized, that it's going to be a 50-50. So if you're looking at growing 6 plants, I would get 12 to 20 seeds, pop them all, figure out their sex, sex them, and then put all females in there, unless you're trying to become a seed farmer.
Right.
There is a company called Hakuna Supply that I know, if they haven't released it yet, but they have a CBD strain that they sell openly, I think, at a lot of different smoke shops even. You have to find out where those are, but that's a company you can look up that I think they're going to be able to release those seeds, and you can purchase them as well.
And also, it's really going to depend on what works best for her. Because,
Yeah, true. And I just kind of was going to start with I looked at this one online, and it's a cross between an Amnesia and a high CBD strain, and then they're feminized seeds.
Sure, start with that.
And I was going to start with that. They had like a little flavor profile on there, and I read that to her, and she hasn't used anything since the 60s, so she's like, sounds great.
right.
It all sounds good, but just remember, it's not going to turn out exactly how you want. It's farming. Growing is growing. It's farming. There's elements and things that are going to happen. And even the best growers that have been doing it for 20, 30 years still have to deal with all of those same aspects that you're going to deal with. They just can recognize it quicker. And so Heavy T, Jerome, Horty Chris, we're here to help you recognize it quicker. I appreciate you calling in, Gabe. You said you wanted to do cocoa, so I'm going to send you the cocoa A and B, as well as a swag pack from the rest of our sponsors, including some Smart Pots, some Rapid Start, and some Cali Magic, man, to get you started for you and your mother-in-law.
Thank you so much.
All right, Gabriel.
Thanks for listening, man.
Listen to the last 6 years. If you get back to year 7, holy schmoly.
And no
I'll catch
autoflowers.
up.
Oh, man. Dr. Duff used to be funny, you'll find out.
Yeah, probably about 7 years ago.
You know Dr. Duff is roofing? This poor bastard's up on the roof with a half a lung.
That's crazy.
He's up there. He came into the shop
I hope
today.
he speaks Spanish.
He
or
came
no one
into
he works with
he
will
came into the shop
understand him.
today to get some black and white poly. I think just to lay down after he came in from work in his house before his wife kicked his butt.
I'll tell you what, if I get a chance to hire another person, I'll hire.
No, that's illegal. Dr. Duff is mine. Dr. Duff is my employee, still under contract. Bob,
Jiggity Drum stepping on all your toes.
Bob the gardener stepping on all 3 of them
You guys
from that.
talk so mean about him. He's such a nice guy.
I didn't talk mean about him.
You should hear what we say about you when you're not here.
You fuckers.
Bob the gardener in Seattle, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome.
What's your question?
Well, the question is, right now I've taken over a whole medical garden. The owner that lives here and everything is, I swear to God, related to the Duff Man. Like, he's either his grandfather or some great uncle or some shit like that. But
It's probably his long-lost twin brother.
I'm just going to give you a little perspective.
No,
The guy's
he's living
been
in
growing
mom
at this
still.
place for like 10 years now and still has fucking carpet in his room. and he's turned the whole house. Like the guy is literally in the living room and all the bedrooms and everything are now converted, but they still have
That's how I
fucking
live.
carpet.
How many bamboo stakes does he use?
Oh my God! Don't get me started on that. Holy shit! He literally like has a whole erection of like there's like a room within a room of just bamboo sticks.
Because those trellis, those cloth trellis, those poly trellis, they carry mold.
Oh,
we need these old bamboo stakes.
Yeah, these old bamboo
Dude,
sticks.
I keep seeing
The ones that are
all
green that
kinds
turn your
of
hand green when you touch.
professional quote-unquote gardens using the same shit. That shit's garbage. Throw it all away.
On top of that, yeah, no, I've cleared the rooms out and everything, and I've redone one. I'm getting ready to. I just had my first. I didn't have time to rip up the carpet, but I'm doing it this time. I mean, $100 pond liner takes care of both rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Yeah, so just giving you an idea, that's what I'm working with. I'm working under the Duff Man's great-grandpappy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
all
love
right.
it.
Grandpa Duff.
I love it.
Hey, research
So
your
because
pond
it-
liner for off-gassing, too. If it's indoors, some pond liners, there's certain plastic and rubber materials that will off-gas and it'll be toxic to the plant.
So hopefully not too bad.
Hopefully not too bad.
Yeah,
That's what I say. That's what I say.
Well, that's when
Anytime I
grow
get bad
tents
news.
first came out, and a bunch of
Yeah,
people had
that
shitty
dude
grow
Evan.
tents.
Yeah, the white plastic was toxic. As soon as it touched the leaf, it killed the plant.
They're like, in the hydro industry, this is Red Wednesday. And I was like, hopefully it's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, well, I hope it's not too bad. But I'll let it have a chance to degas if that's the case, then before I actually get it in there. But the main thing is I'm resetting everything and just wanting. Okay, so heat and pests. I'm dealing with that issue right now. I'm also trying to just fix it and clean up his mess and take care of all the plants and rebuild and update. So my hands are full pretty much every day that I'm here. But the thing I'm trying to do is really get down my integrated pest management because that's one of the biggest issues because of how unkept this house is. Don't even get started with the ventilation. But right now what I'm really trying to focus on is this. I'm getting ready to just actually go with an AC unit, like a portable AC unit for this one room, get it all sealed up proper, and get it all dialed in proper the way it should be, and not dealing with any of these heat spikes and everything, because there's not enough consistency that's allowing these plants to really do as good as they should. And so one of the things I want to know is what kind of sprays can I stack on top of each other, like mix in the same container, to just do one application spray instead of having to do it like every other day or every day with a different spray.
Well,
like, what are some of the ones that work well with each other?
The IPM, the basis of it is when you use multiple things with different active ingredients, right?
Yeah.
But to spray them all at the same time it kind of goes against the theory, because what the theory of the IPM or actually what the basis of it is you spray one active ingredient this time, and then a few days later you spray something different.
Okay.
And then a few days later, you spray a third thing that's different, and then you go back to the first thing that you sprayed, and so on. So you're always spraying something different. If you spray all of them at one time, you're not getting that offset.
Okay, even if they are different, like proprietary blends and stuff.
Right, and also on top of that, there could be toxicity problems because it can be, some of the sprays are a little stressful to the plant.
Yeah,
So, you go and like, you're okay eating a steak every week, but whenever you go from eating a steak while you're smoking a cigarette, while you're woofing down high fructose corn syrup milkshakes all at the same time,
And you're on a Colombian diet.
it could be a little too much. You know what I mean?
All
So,
right. So
you want to
have
spray
just
them.
kinda-
You want to spray them all at different times, and you want to do it every 3 to 5 days if you have pests, and if
Yeah.
you don't, probably every 5 to 7 days. And as
Okay.
we always tell people, spot spray a couple leaves on one plant and wait 3 to 4 days to make sure that there's no toxicity before you go and spray the whole garden.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get right now, because with this heat boom that we've had, and just the fact that the house is not even like filtered, like anything coming in is not filtered, nothing. Like I recently bought some things, and just I'm trying to get everything like reinstalled before this next run. Like I said, I'm just struggling to stay on top of just
if
everything
you're
else.
bringing-
That's
if-
why I'm trying to cut down certain time. But I understand that. I totally. Yeah, too much of one thing also is never good for the plants too.
And if you're bringing in fresh outdoor air, shameful plug, just use dust shrooms on the intakes.
Yeah, I've kind of built a little box right now that I'm just using like house vent filters. and
Yeah, that's
just
not going to
better.
work.
If you
That's
give Mark
right.
your information, we get 50% off to you right now.
The one of the problems you'll have though with the house filters is either they're so restrictive because they can filter so fine that it's gonna slow down your airflow. And then if they don't slow down the airflow, they're going to let too much stuff through. I mean, they have duct cleaning services for houses.
You want to know what my my low-tech, grow-tech answer to this
Sure,
was
sure.
shop back filters.
Yeah, those are going to be pretty restrictive on your intake.
Yeah.
Paper,
But
the paper
they're-
filters are.
They're cheap temporary fix for now. It's better than nothing. And for
Definitely
$20
better than
deposit.
nothing. And in the
Yeah.
future, though, if you can upgrade to the dust room, it
Oh,
comes
I'd love to.
coated
I'd
with
love to.
rosemary and cedar oils. So
That's-
any
that's-
mold, mildew, or pests that come into contact with the oil, the oils kill them, so
Yeah.
that you don't have that issue.
On
Yeah,
recommendation of Heavy Tea.
I'm trying to get things down to as little as possible because once I get into this regiment with the sprays, because right now I have the Monterey Garden Spray, Azamax, and then also some Mighty Wash. So those are the three that I have that I'm kind of putting into my routine. I don't think any of them have any of the same proprietary blends or anything, so I think they're safe there. But the wash
Monterey,
is
does it
more
have
for body,
spinosad?
and then the Monterey and the Neem are more for the.
Spinosad?
Spinosad?
You have spinosad in your Monterey?
Are you saying to add something to my Monterey?
No, is it the one do you have which Monterey do you have? They make so many different products. Is it the one with spinosad?
Grab it real quick. It's it just says
Say Spinoza one more time, fool. How dare motherfucker.
Well, either way, if it
Steal
says
my Mammoth
spinosad,
Pea from
don't
my
use
garage
it.
again.
It's not
Yeah, he's like, do you have hors d'oeuvres at your party?
It says the Monterey Garden Insect Spray. That's the only thing
That
it
was
says.
funny.
Okay.
Contains,
Contains
Spinosad.
orthene.
yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It does?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not healthy for you. So,
Oh,
yeah.
It kills bees.
So, two questions I have for you. Backing up to your other room that's properly sealed and all that stuff, don't put a portable AC on it. Number two, what kind of pests are you dealing with? Are they root pests? Are
Don't
they
put a portable AC in that room?
no?
You're probably better with a mini split. And if you do have to use a portable, make sure it has two hoses, one for intake and one for exhaust.
Yeah,
if it's
that's what I'm looking at right now because I'm trying to find a 240 voltage because the house is wired for that. So I'm
go
trying
with
to
the mini
find-
split.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find a 240 portable because everything's portables made to plug into the wall in your living room, and so they're all 110.
How much would the mini split cost?
How many lights are in the room?
Where are you at, Seattle?
Why? Okay, so
I
the
could get
rooms-
it to you for cheap.
Here's how the rooms are set up upstairs. So the rooms, you have two of them, and they're both same size. They're both about 10 by 11 and a half, and about 9-foot ceilings. Now they're across from each other, but in between them are a closet space that is like kind of like a hallway that leads to both of them, and then a bathroom in between the two. So if I did do this mini split system, I'm assuming I could use it to take care of both rooms, right?
Well, again, how many lights are you running in each room?
Those are four light rooms.
For 1,000.
Okay, so you're going to need, and they're not air cooled; they're open reflectors.
They are open reflectors using the big umbrella kind style.
Okay,
And
so-
on top of that, I'm now also making hot boxes for them, so they're moving the ballast out of the room.
Okay, so you're probably going to be looking at least 5,000 to 6,000 BTUs per light. So you're looking at having to have at least 20 to 24,000 BTUs of air conditioning, and you could install one mini split and have it go between the two rooms as long as you have one that can, if the lights run at the same time, you're going to need one that does 48,000 BTUs, and you're going to need to use inline fans to circulate the air between the two rooms.
Oh, no.
No,
you'll
they
already got
make
that
systems
set up.
where the-
You'll like how I have the inline fan. I basically have it in a closed-loop system, and a 6-inch fan is pulling air in, and then when it goes through the closed-loop ducting, they have little holes in it, and then therefore it kind of evenly spaces out. So I could basically, wherever the cold air is coming from, I can hook it up to that, and it's on the base floor, so then go inward and upward, so then that way it kind of helps cool everything.
You also have to
Any
pull
room.
the air back from that room to the area the cold air comes from, though, as well.
Sounds like a house,
Yeah.
not a medical facility.
No, it's a house. No, it's a medical garden. That's what it is.
Okay.
Medical garden.
So are you running all 8 lights at the same time?
Yeah, he's doing everything at nighttime because of the power.
Right.
the
But
power
what I'm
rate.
saying is if you have 4 lights in one room and 4 lights in another room, you have a total of 8 1,000 watt at about
Yeah.
5,000 to 6,000 BTUs per. You're looking at 40 to 48,000 BTUs to keep all 8 lights cool.
Mm-hmm.
if you ran the lights like 12 hours during the day and then the other room 12 hours at night, and you had that like bathroom as a lung room to cool and move the air between the two rooms,
I wish that was the case.
you could get away with half the BTU. But another thing you can do is you can get mini splits now that have 2 head units.
Yep.
So
that's where
it's
I'm
a
going.
48,000 BTU that has 2 24,000 BTU air conditioners, and you put one in each room.
Oh, wow. I don't know how much that runs, but it sounds pretty awesome. It sounds like that'd be
They're not
ideal.
that much, a couple grand.
Where are you? What state?
Yeah, I'm balling on a budget, unfortunately. Well, it's not even really
But I mean, you're
balling,
going to need two portable ACs, one for each room, if you can even get them in that size. And if you don't get 20 to 24,000 BTU, it's not going to keep the room cool anyways. And you're not going to find them in 240. And if you do find a really large portable unit, it's going to be $600-700, and you need 2.
And then
so
you're
now
low-
you're almost at a couple grand anyways.
Your low budget grow then turns into a low budget snarf factory.
Low yield, yeah.
It's one of those things where
It's one of those things that lead you roofing in the summertime in Southern California that you don't listen to heavy tea.
Do it right or do it twice.
Yeah,
I
dude.
got you.
Get a mini split, 100%.
Hey, that's some John Wooden shit. If you don't have time to do it right the first time, when you can have time to do it over?
Right, yeah.
Exactly. No, and that's what I want to do.
Be
this
quick, but
go
don't hurry.
around, because I got everything else set up the way it should, but it's just the heat. I was not expecting that much heat this summer. So
Failing to prepare is preparing
what
to
are some
fail.
Good brands for these.
Mitsubishi, #1 mini split out there, guaranteed. Higher the SEER rating, the better it is on your pocketbook for energy costs.
Mitsubishi, Sunlight Supplies, Ideal Airs have come a long way in
Mirage.
recent years. Aura Systems, I know the owner of them. He uses the Mitsubishi electronics in a Hitachi compressor. So he uses what's supposedly the most reliable parts in his units. But I would probably look into the Ideal Air. Or the Aura Systems.
Hey, listen,
that-
Bob. I'm gonna send you some things, man. We got to keep moving on.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, no,
I'm gonna send you
appreciate
some of the
guys'
green
time.
pads. So once you're all sealed up, you get the CO2 in there. Hang them up. Give them a squirt. Let that CO2 rain down on your plants. CO2 is one of the 3 necessary components for photosynthesis. So you add more CO2, you add more ability for the plant to divide
keep
its
in
cells.
mind, I'm
Hey, keep in
running,
mind that I'm going to send you some Terpinator and some Smart Pots as well, Bob. Keep growing. This
Thanks,
is Heavy
Larry.
T's Grow Show, not Bob the Gardener Grow Show, motherfucker. Zero tolerance for that type of behavior. 562-653-0707.
Anybody doesn't behave like that, it's gonna be me.
One more call before we go out with Aquabella. Here we go. Diane. It's a lady. I think so.
Hello there.
Hey, Di. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me.
No, it's all good.
That's what she said.
Yes.
That's what I think. Hey,
what-
well, you guys, this is pretty funny because this is my very first attempt at a radio station.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you called in. What's your grow question? You got a grow question, Di?
Great. My phone just decided to call somebody. Well, I have a question. If I were to tell you I could increase your essential oil, increase your yield at least 20%, denature Roundup or any kind of chemical, pesticide, herbicide.
Can you give me some of the pasture, please?
Yeah, you would sound just like everybody else that
Some hell of a
has
knob.
some magical thing.
Oh, really?
So that's
Well,
some
we've
bullshit.
gotten it back already from a lot of the growers over there in Colorado, and it literally has quadrupled. And it's what the best thing is it denatures the glyphosate. I don't think there's anything out there that denatures the glyphosate.
I don't know anybody who's putting glyphosate in their pot plants.
They
The
need it in Colorado.
Glyphosate
But
kills plants. So why would you put it
Yeah,
on
I
that
know,
plant?
but I'm talking about the soil, like that somebody buys a farm. Somebody buys a farm. Did they hang up?
No.
No.
Just Colorado growers need training wheels. Best growers in Cali.
Hey, go ahead, bring us back. Diane, you know what? I just went to Colorado, and I found out one special fact. I went to Red Rocks, saw Michael Franti, and most of the tax dollars for welfare are being spent on tickets to Michael Franti at Red Rocks by Colorado hippies. That's what I found out.
So what you're saying is this is something that you apply to the soil if you're going to grow plants outdoors?
Yes, and what's happening is a lot of these places, a lot of these people we're working with, they'll buy a farm, and they'll grow hemp. They'll start growing hemp. It's organic, everything. They fix their soil, they get it all ready, and they start growing. Well, we go out there and do a test on it to see if there's still chemicals in the soil, which 99% of the time there are. We just
Hold on, I
spray
just figured out, Diane, your product is called biochar, isn't it?
What's that?
Is it biochar?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you sure it's
No,
not just
and
burned
you
up
happen
wood?
to know quite a few people who are using it right now.
Do I?
So you're going to know about this pretty soon.
What's it called?
And it's Symbiosis AGX.
Symbiosis AGX. Say, what do you think
We
about
got it.
that?
We had it at the Milko show. Tons of people have used it. Sent in their results. You don't get powdery mildew.
All right, what?
Can you hear me? Because all I hear is music.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, good. You won't get powdery mildew. All we do is take all the chemicals that are in there out of the soil, which releases all the locked out chemicals, if there are any, and most of the time there are. We unlock the nutrients and we test it before and after we spray. We'll just spray one plant. That's it. Do a test on it, show you, then spray it, wait like 45 minutes to an hour, do another test, and the levels will have risen. And that's what everybody says.
With hemp and cannabis, we know it has remediation properties in soil to pull out heavy metals. And if you're able to accelerate that, kudos to you, Diane. And listen, I want to know more about it. I don't have enough time right now to get all of it.
And I didn't think you did, hon. I didn't think you did.
But you know what, Diane? That I want you to do. Stay on hold.
What?
I'm gonna send you a little swag pack so you can roll around with the shirt and some other stuff. But I want you to talk to my screener and give him some information about the product that you're talking about, and maybe we can have you on as a guest.
Absolutely, and you know what? I've just sent it to Ed Rosenthal. I've sent it to him.
All right, well, that's enough of that. All right, let's keep.
I disagree.
Go ahead. One more time, Saint. Hey, it might be real.
I hear names like Ed Rosenthal and Kyle
like
or whatever,
that.
Cushman, and I see their fucking gardens full of bamboo stakes and sticky cars full of fungus gnats.
Yeah, and fucking Home Depot buckets.
I don't mind the ball on a budget, but when you got to fucking stake up your plants and you got that many gnats on that many cards, you're doing something wrong, dude.
Hey, listen, how you got time to garden if you ain't got time to wash your hair or brush your teeth?
Right?
Hey, with all due respect to the homies, Ed's been on the show. Have we had Kyle on the show before? Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
We played his interview.
All right. 562-653-0707. Let's talk grow. Call me up. We're going to do this all. We're hooking it up all night. We have Aquabella. We have our man Garth and Greg coming up. It's going to be an interesting show. It's Heavy T. Ya dig? DFZRadio.com.
Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. All the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. All the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip.
Other bitch, whole nother bean. Got a moon walking like she Billie Jean. She say she on 3, that's triple team. Say she on 3, that's triple team. And I'm fucking around and hit 3 niggas. Goddamn shawty, that's triple beam. 40 hanging out a nigga denim jean. 40 hanging out a nigga denim jean. And I'm kicking shit, no bully. Walked in the bed like screw me. But it pat down my foolie. I used to be bro, didn't know me. Swift with me, I ain't talking boom game. Me and everybody hit the motherfucking floor. Got a rollie on my wrist, couple hundreds on my feet. I'm a shilly bitch, you already know. Late night in the church with the killer gorillas and thug niggas in the motherfucking creature. And I'ma throw the D real for a little nigga, and you know that your bitch the receiver. Nigga ain't gon' win on the beater. Make the whole stand still black beater. Bitch, you fly them motherfucking eagle. Bitch, you fly them motherfucking eagle.
Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. I got all the dab on me. All the drip on me. I got all the dab, all the dab. All the drip, all the drip. I got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip.
outside from sun up to sundown. We can put them fists up, put them guns down. Or we can put them guns on them which way you want now. Get it with the bird, button down. Blue fade rollers and them diamonds on bust down. Had it bad, you better hush now. Hey, bitch, I been dabbing, bitch, I been having. Rolling all gas, that much now. I ran on the rad, that's a touchdown. I move, fool, good as shit go. So the dick so long, she caught the hit go. I want thank God for a new year. Hey, I pour that act in the motherfucking roof. This new year on the coupe. I look up and I ain't her roof. And I kiss shit, no fever. My pockets swell up like the measles. I pull up and pop at your people. Patrolling the spot with the heater. Don't say no name, I got amnesia. I lick it and leave on the teaser. No second, no, I can't repeat it. I told her Michael Jackson beat it. Got all this dab on me. Got all this drip on me. Got all this dab on me. Got all this drip on me. Got all this dab, all this dab. Got all this drip, all this drip. Got all this dab, all this dab. Got all this drip, all this drip. Got all this dab on me. Got all this drip on me. Got all this dab on me. All this drip on me. I got all this dab, all this dab. All this drip, all this drip. I got all this dab, all this dab. Got all this drip, all this drip.
Are you ready to start cloning but don't know where to start? HDI has you covered, the only propagation-focused company. HDI was founded in 1997 and is the master distributor of Clonex throughout North America, like the Clonex rooting gel, which has been on the market since 1988, EPA registered and approved for use on food crops and cannabis. It's the only rooting gel approved by the Washington and Colorado Department of Agriculture for propagating cannabis plants, used by thousands of plant nurseries, commercial growers, scientists, and greenhouse growers with billions of clones successfully rooted. That's Clonex rooting gel. But healthy clones start with healthy mothers. And with Mother Plant from HDI, you are fulfilling the nutritional needs of mother plants without excess nitrates, supporting strong, vibrant clones. And now you're ready for some Clonex Mist, a ready-to-use foliar spray for mother plants, cuttings, and rooting clones. Pop your clones into Root Riot plant starter cubes, and they are safe for use in hydroponic systems and are a proprietary blend of micronutrients that is certified food safe. And don't forget to add the Mycorrhiza with Clonex Root Maximizer, a mycorrhizae fungi, beneficial bacteria, and trichoderma that increases the surface area of your plant's roots, allowing the plants to access more nutrients and water. And don't forget to feed with Clonex Clone Solution, formulated for rooted clones and seedlings, a special blend of minerals and vitamins that encourage rapid root development. So no matter what your propagation needs are, remember HDI has you covered. Check them out at hydrodynamicsintl.com. That's hydrodynamicsintl.com.
Dilly heavy tea grow show. But dilly dee.
Dr. Duffman here. Wanted to talk to you about what I wish I had in my garden. And that, my friends, is a Nanolux double-ended fixture, which is leading the industry as I speak in double-ended technology. I will no longer need 10 150-watt lights to cover my 5x5 area. With just one double-ended fixture from Nanolux, I can cover that area. Also, no more need for that pesky Richter timer of mine that goes off at all kinds of random hours. With Nanolux's fixture, it comes NCCS ready, meaning I can control it on my computer. So if you're like me and your lighting situation sucks, then upgrade to Nanolux's double-ended fixtures today, and don't be a duff man. For more information on Nanolux, check them out at nanoluxtech.com. That's NANOLUXTECH.com.
Say, you're big time, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay, got your ballasts check, reflectors check, fans check, just about ready to get growing. The last thing you need is your bulbs.
Let me get like 12 of, whatever's the cheapest you got.
Bro, really? You're using the best soils, best nutrients, best equipment, and you're going to use an Econo brand lamp? If you really want the best of the best, you need to go with the Ushio Hilux Grow Lamp. Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps have the highest quality and consistency in their construction, and they're engineered to give your plants the light spectrum they need for the best growth and biggest harvest. Plus, Ushio is the only company that offers 2100 micromole light output without needing to overdrive your lamps and ballasts. That means more light for your plants and longer light for your lamps.
Wow, I had no idea. Okay, sold. Give me the Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps.
Professional growers know not every lamp will give plants what they need to optimize their growth and yields and maximize profits. That's why the pros choose Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps. Offered in a full range of high-pressure sodium, metal halide, and ceramic metal halide options, Ushio Hilux grow lamps ensure that your plants are covered from seed to harvest no matter what lighting system you're using. For over 50 years, Ushio has been a trusted name and a leader in specialty lighting, and they stand by the name with a no questions asked 1-year warranty. So whether you run 5 lights or 500, you can be confident that you're buying the best horticulture lamps on the market. Ask for Ushio Hilux grow lamps and make sure to check them out online at www.ushio.com.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bring in the Rhizoblast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
10, 9.
Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella. Chlorella's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits used in Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, the use with any growing medium or hydro system, its ideal use for transplanting, and the enhancement of your plant vigor in fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rhizoblast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
You are listening to the Heavy Tea Grow Show. Call in right now, 562-653-0707, for your chance to talk to Heavy Tea, Horty Chris, or Dr. Duffman. Killing it.
DFCRadio.com.
Yeah, I'm in the studio with my nephew. On the track, this on emo, baby. I'm a bad mom, I'm an OG, I'm a 60-year-old with a bad knee. I smoke that till I can't see. Everybody trying to get with me. I'm a bad mom, I'm an OG, I'm a 60-year-old with a bad knee. I smoke that till I can't see. Everybody trying to get with me. I got the
Yo, what is? Unc Emo! He's actually playing a concert this weekend with Fetty Wap out in Denver.
Yeah, he got to show with Fetty Wap. That's dope, man.
Hey, Greg, stop molesting the microphone once they're on. All right? And no Darth Vader breathing. Horty Chris, give him an example of Darth Vader.
Yeah, so
we could all hear that.
Just lean back.
All right?
Luke, I am your father.
I don't think that's what they say if you ever look up the Mandela effect on YouTube. That's not what they say. They just say, I am your father.
Yeah.
And do you know C-3PO actually has a silver leg? Yeah, look it up. It's real.
No comment.
We got all the
Mandela effect.
Insiders.
What is? I hope you're all Mandelian out there. We sure are. We're smoking on this My Blue Dove. Now, this is the Blue Dream. We all know the Blue Dream has a bad rap, but we're going to test it out. Horty Chris, can you spark this for us?
Yeah.
There you go. But we do have our guys, Greg and Garth from Aquabella Organic Solutions in-house, guys. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Well, Aquabella it basically is about all natural, beneficial microbial products, and it helps promote soil fertility, plant health, unleash the plant from its roots is what we're trying to do, right? Give me a little background here. Who's going to start it off? We've got Greg over here, a recent graduate of the University of South Carolina. He worked in tech sales before joining the Aquabella team. Actually, he went to the other USC here in Southern California. Yeah. He's doing his thing, though. Tell us a little bit about your background, Greg.
Yeah, so I'm from England originally. I came here specifically
I thought
to
you were
go to
Australian. My bad.
That's all right. I get that quite a bit.
You're a legend, mate. Talking to the mic.
And no, I came here to go to university. My sister actually went to UCLA, and I started to enjoy cannabis when I moved out here. It's not really such a big thing in England. It's a little bit more taboo. And then like I say, I went into tech sales and got introduced to Aquabella. Met Garth and the founder. And I love the product, and the more I spoke to them and to our microbiologist, we've got a really excellent microbiologist. I loved it, and so I haven't been able to get enough of it. I've been going around trying to get us into some hydroponic stores, and that's how I found you guys, actually, just walking through the front door.
That's great. And honestly, it's a niche industry, right? It's used to be called the Good Old Boys Club. That you got to kind of break that glass ceiling and sit down and chop it up with Heavy T or whoever it's going to be, someone that's going to kind of vet you guys, right? So, Greg, USC guy, thank God your sister went to UCLA, otherwise you'd be on your ass outside in about 5 seconds. But we also have our man Garth over here, which over 25 years of working in agriculture, working with plants, doing your thing. What is your background specifically? Is it agriculture as large scale? Is it horticulture?
What?
Is that a Breitling watch?
No, it's yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, you don't even know that's where you got it.
I just knew, cost a lot of money, but
no
I couldn't afford it, and I stole it from Costco. So please don't tell anybody.
No, you buy it from Costco, and then you send them back the fake one and tell them you don't want it anymore.
Yes, yeah. But you keep the box. It's really cool.
Right.
Anyway, okay, so I grew up on a big farm.
Obviously,
farm
that
boy.
kind of watch.
I thought you were gonna say yeah.
And went to Cal Poly, and then my whole life has pretty much been in horticulture, big greenhouses. I've run big hydroponic tomato facilities, blah blah blah, all sorts of stuff. I love plants, and when I came across Unleash with the founder, we talked about it. I was actually working for a big company that sells chemicals for farming, and wow, I started using this stuff, and it was just amazing. And so I got involved, and so I quit that one.
What crops did you start using it on? Was it tomatoes specifically?
No, it was cannabis.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Cannabis.
you see that watch? You think he's growing tomatoes?
It's legal now, player.
No, it's.
Thank you.
There's so much stuff that microbes work everywhere, right? They're the way things work in plant material. I mean, you can't grow a plant without microbes. You can put salts in it and do NPK, but if you don't have the microbes to cut down the secondary and the micronutrients, it ain't gonna happen.
So you have the education from Cal Poly, backed up by the experience in both large scale and horticulture, the horticultural industry. You've taken that knowledge and started to apply it with Unleashed towards the cannabis industry.
Yes, that's exactly right. Very articulate, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I've only had 27 beers. But which is ironic because he grows 27 pounds of light.
Yeah.
No,
it's 37.
No, what was it? 1,000 or 100 pounds?
I don't know. I thought. Look it up on your Instagram.
There was a
It's sponsored.
song. There was a song.
We'll play it at the break. We'll play it at the break. No worries. So let's talk about the product, right? It's the Unleash root inoculate, but it's by Aquabella Organic Solutions. That's the parent company.
Yep.
And the I've said that a lot. More roots, more fruits.
Yep.
It's an easy sales pitch. Anyone with a root inoculant or a root stimulant, this is their sales pitch: more roots, more fruits. Can you tell us a little bit how the Unleash actually interacts with the roots or creates more roots?
I can. So Unleash. What's interesting about Unleash is that the microbial portion of it, the inoculant, is pretty special. It's like 1,000 different DNA mapped different microbes. But that doesn't mean a darn thing, because when you put 2 or 3 microbes or 40 microbes together, they start beating each other up.
Right. To fight, to be the dominant one.
There'll be 2 dominant, maybe 1, maybe Nasobacter or Lactobacillus, something like that.
So you end up paying for a lot of stuff that you only get one thing working.
Yeah. And if it's not, people are going to hate me for this, but if it's not liquid, then you're not really getting the full bang for your buck, because you got to heat it up and take it down and make it into a granule. So ours is all liquid.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit, because that is outside of the realm of thought for most growers.
Right.
The realm of thought is liquids are going to be active and they're degrading quicker than a powder form.
Because the microbes are essentially drowning.
But
is what the other companies that make the granulars
yeah.
claim.
So what I'm saying is school us a little bit, because it is a reversal of what our common thought is.
Think about it. So you got all these microbes, 1,000 microbes, and the only thing different about our product in reality is the inoculant and how they're made. The manufacturing process, the proprietary manufacturing process, is 4 months long to do. And what happens, as my founder says, Yoni, shout out to Yoni.
Shout out to Yoni.
Everybody know what
Yoni, where's your ass?
guys
Get your
know
ass
what
out
Yoni?
in Numbskull Studios.
That's so funny.
Anyway,
Send us
I
his
know-
Australian guy and Garth. Just
so,
fucking with you. Greg's
so
gonna
yeah,
take me
where
to
was
Huevos.
that? So what happens is that they'll learn to get along in this process. You can have 1,000 or 2, and if we have 1,000 and you want to get them all to get along, then you have to do something different. And we're the only people, I think, as far as I know, that do something different. And so when you apply this, you have all these microbes available. And when you see how it works, so microbes then just go down in the soil, they colonize, they attach to the root hairs. They attach right on and build colonies. They'll even build colonies with biofilm around them so that they can ward off any type of disease and different things like that.
Does that also lock out nutrients?
No, not at all. What microbes do is break down nutrients.
But the biofilm that they form.
No. The biofilm that you form does not lock out the nutrients. I don't know why. I'm not a scientist, but it doesn't. You can see when the results.
Okay.
Biofilm plugs up drippers.
We have a biofilm buster. Nice segue.
All right, Greg, tell us about the biofilm buster, brother.
So the biofilm buster is just a slightly more concentrated version of what's in the Unleash.
Okay.
And what this is designed to do is break down the kind of organic matter buildup that a lot of growers have problems with in their irrigation systems or even their hydro tanks. As with the Unleash, this was developed from one of the products that we were using in commercial ag with so much success that we were actually using to treat reservoirs of wineries and things like that. And we're going to have some sort of new marketing materials on this, but what we found is that you don't actually even need to activate this in the same way that you would activate an Unleash or any root inoculant, really. So you can just inject this directly into your irrigation system or hydro tank. And then within overnight, say if you leave it overnight, then you'll find that the organic matter has actually been broken down. And what I like about this one a lot, especially in the conversations I've been having in some of the grow stores, like this one, for example, is that the products we're competing with are more kind of chemical or acid based, and it's not really what you want to be putting on your plants, especially if you're an organic grower or something like that.
They're radicals. If you use an
peroxide.
oxidator like H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, it's not a uniform distribution of the oxygen molecules. They interact with organic matter. It's that extra oxygen molecule is released. It destroys the organic matter. What remains is water. So you're guessing, and most recommendations was re-inoculate the reservoir every 2 to 3 days because things are breathed off or they actually interact with organic material. This doesn't have an interaction lifespan, is what I'm getting. If you drop it in there, it's going to interact with the biofilm or organic material and continue to do its thing. Am I misunderstanding it, Garth?
No, you're absolutely right. So what happens is biofilm, the microbes go in and just eat. It's a banquet. They go in and eat. There's not hydrogen peroxide. It's not acid. And so it eats and eats, and it doesn't even miss any niches because it's microbes. So it eats that, and it just comes out in 5 to 8 hours. Everything's clean, and the stuff that inoculates the plants after that is actually great microbes. It's not an acid that's going to kill your microbes.
Is this something that you can use with an absence of plants, where if you have a large irrigation system, run it through and clear out some of the gunk that's building up? And on top of that, can it clear out actual pathogens like Pythium or something like that may be in an irrigation system?
What we found was we had a big grower in a greenhouse that had a reservoir full of Pythium, and they couldn't get the plants to grow. And we put one of our products, which is Aquabella, which is very similar to other products, and it actually makes the plants not get any Pythium because it's like, okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Take your time. We only have 4 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, you're kind of shaking for a guy with a Breitling on.
It's basically like a bulletproof vest.
Greg's been taking the majority of the love so far.
I know.
Trying to make it easy for you,
Greg's
Garth.
doing great because
Spark
he's
one more.
got that voice too. I mean,
It doesn't hurt the Australian accent.
You're a legend, mate.
I don't. Now I don't know what I am now.
Aluminium.
So anyway,
This tariff on this aluminium is destroying our business, mate.
Oh he turned into a tomato.
These guys are a bunch of fucking bellends. These cunts.
Oh, I haven't heard that one in a while. actually.
Bellend.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I'm gonna look it up, and once I find out, well, okay.
It's a dickhead.
Okay, so we
To
have
RoboCop, bro. You know what that means? Up your ass. All right, now that's Espanol.
How about that?
All right, what were you talking about, Garth?
I'm just saying that.
Shout out to
okay,
Yanni.
So,
or-
Yoni.
Yeah.
Yoni. If you look it up and see what it is, it'll be interesting.
I'm sure he's listening right now.
Yeah. No, what Yoni is in a different language is whole different thing than a man. So anyway, you guys need to look it up.
Wait,
what question did you ask him?
It sounds like
I was just asking him to finish his thought.
Finish my thought. All right. So a plant basically has a parking lot under it, and if you park enough microbes that are good based on like our product, then the other pathogens and stuff, other microbes can't get in. And it creates, until 2012, the scientific community didn't even acknowledge that microbes help pathogen and help the health of a plant like that.
Is it because it's not pharmaceutical? It's biological.
It's because they're freaking
Is that what you think,
complicated.
Greg?
They're just complicated. It's really I mean,
But do the microbes actually? I know that they colonize the roots and they basically are fed by the roots, and they get the sugars they need, and then they protect the roots. They break down the nutrients to help the plant pull them in.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably pretty much common knowledge amongst everyone. But
Sure.
my question is, if there's pythium in it, because a lot of people run recirculating systems and they get pythium, they let the temperatures get too high, and then it's like in the plastics and it never goes away.
And then they end up roofing.
And then they clean the shit out of their system. They'll run bleach, hydrogen peroxide, everything through it, put new plants in it. Within a few days, the plants have root rot again, even if the temperatures are in check. So does it kill the pythium or
No.
just keeps it away?
It just keeps it away. We don't kill anything.
Okay.
The microbe doesn't kill anything.
Okay.
They kill each other. I'm sorry.
Okay, right.
But it does live in a symbiotic relationship with the actual plant. Now, is this something that is fed through like carbohydrates that the plant produces? Are we adding humic or fulvic acids as a
No.
food source? Do we need to add a food source?
No. Well, you need a food source obviously for the microbes in order for them to function, but the plant does the food source. The microbes get the food from the plant, right? And then they break down it's a symbiotic. They break down all the minerals, and if it's organic fertilizers, they break that down. And then if you have something like mycorrhiza, which is actually kind of a weak, it's amazing. I don't know if everybody knows about mycorrhiza, but it's kind of weak. And if you give it something that feeds it much stronger, you'll never have a mycorrhiza failure. So it's really cool. And I got to give a shout out to Extreme Gardening. Their mycorrhiza is killer. John Anderson and those guys, and they take that stuff and they beat the hell out of it. And it comes out, and it's probably the best mycorrhiza. And so we're friends.
They also don't add competing
Nope.
competing organisms. You'll see some mycorrhiza that's mixed with trichoderma, a beneficial, very aggressive bacteria.
I know, it's just silly, isn't it?
And overall, you think you're a funny guy over there.
Do you use the Azos too from Extreme Gardening?
I have used Azos. They're very good. And that's the kind of, Azos are for nitrogen fixation. And so that's, if you put Azo on or any really inoculant, it's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to help like leash is.
All right. Well, hey, check this out, guys. We do have a caller, and I want you to lay some knowledge if we can. We know the protocol. If you have a take, raise your hand. We have Eugene. He wants to know about enzymes for your plants. Eugene. Eugene's listening to it. Eugene, turn down your app or your radio, whatever you got going. Take us off speakerphone. And now you're on with the legend Greg and Garth.
Okay.
All right. What's going on?
I just want to know what does enzymes do for your soil or your plants?
You want to help out, Garth?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Enzymes are a product of microbes, and what happens is the microbes actually break down the minerals, the secondary minerals, the calcium and sulfur. Actually, sulfur is now a main mineral. Main fertilizer, like NPK. But so if you're in an organic situation, if you don't have good microbes in the soil, it will not break down the fertilizer you're putting on in order to feed the plant, and you'll notice it because the plant's kind of looking weak,
Yeah. So it takes care of the soil that the plant's grown in?
Well, listen, enzymes, we can add additional. We can add buffers. We can add things to facilitate direct enzyme contact or enzyme production. But the roots are creating enzyme, correct?
Correct.
And I think with the Unleash product, what I'm getting is that Unleash doesn't necessarily add an enzyme. It just facilitates that manufacturing of the enzyme through the plant's process.
That's actually very correct. What you're trying I love that clapping.
Go ahead, brother. Come on.
Say that again?
Well, you using beneficial products will help with enzymic production, or you can add enzymes to help break things down if you're in a sterile environment. Anytime that I overdo something, if I felt I locked something up, I do a flush with some enzymes. I don't add enzymes typically because I do use biologicals, and I know the plant is producing its own. But if I need to break down some heavy metals and clear things out, I'm not going to use a radical like H2O2 or a clearing solution, specialized sugar, anything like that. I'm going to use some enzyme so I can get right back to it and give the plant what it needs once I clear it out.
Absolutely.
All right, but go ahead, brother.
Well, no. With
you're a host of the show. You're over there.
Well, no, it's like a lot of people.
Darth Vader.
It's like I'm not a scientist. I don't have a degree in a lot of this shit, and a lot of people hear things in layman's terms. Think of an enzyme kind of like you go to the grocery store, you see those fucking Yakult commercials, and you drink that for your stomach.
I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
You're basically just like your body. You're as a human being, a plant has to digest what you're feeding it, and by taking that Yakult and putting a different enzyme that maybe you lack, or something you don't have, or something that's going to benefit your body to help break down and digest the food that you're intaking, just like a plant uptakes the food that you're feeding to it. Just think of it like that. You don't need to know the science behind it, but what you're doing is obviously going to be more beneficial to the plant. Being able to take the food that, let's say you're a bodybuilder or a swimmer, and being able to, like Michael Phelps, best athlete of all time, smoked weed, ate McDonald's to keep his calorie count high.
Bolt sold weed to Hussein.
But it's like there's special cases. Not everybody's like that. So if you want to optimize the results of your getting, you got to make sure that the plant is able to uptake the food that you're giving it, no matter what gimmick you're buying.
Right.
Yeah. So.
All right. Thank you very much for answering that question.
All right, check it out, Eugene. You wanted to add something, Garth? No. Go ahead. Garth. God damn it, this is a 4-hour program.
4 hours, need some content.
Come on, brother. You were going to add something.
No, I like the enzyme part, like yogurt or something, to try to. You need a certain enzyme.
Dude,
I've
worked behind the counter,
you gotta have stinky butt if you don't have your.
Dude, when you're at a
if you got
store,
Bounty, you just double wipe with Bounty.
Hey, Devin hates my description of Prevacin. I'm like, it's an insect repellent. People ask, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, okay, so basically, do you like going into the shitter after somebody just blew up the bathroom? Hell no. So think of this shit just like you just blew up your garden's bathroom, and none of the bugs like that smell.
That is a horrible analogy.
That's a great one, Jerome.
It is. That's a repellent
Yeah,
to
no
me.
wonder Devin doesn't like it. That makes 3 of us.
Well, no, one of the main ingredients is capsium, like
All right,
from like
turn
jalapenos and shit.
It burns them.
You're off. Yeah. We're going to send him some smart pots and the complete line of Mission Fertilizer. What do you think about that, player? It's to grow the bloom, the enhance everything to get those enzymes going. And the crazy swell. And if you can get some Unleash root inoculant from Aquabella, then you need to go do that. By the way, you can go to social media while we're listening. On Instagram, it's Unleash Organic. Or on Facebook, it's Unleash Organics. Or go to aquabellaorganics.com. Thanks a lot, Eugene, man. Keep growing.
All right, you guys have a blessed day.
All right, stay up. Go check out My Blue Dove.
You on MySpace?
When you're in, I was on MySpace once. I had a wall. I had a song playing. It was sick until they took it down and said it was an infringement of their copyright. All of a sudden, we're infringing copyrights left and right on Heavy T. All right, Thomas from Georgia.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's up? What's going on?
Not much, man. My question is about cocoa. I did the Soul Grow. I'm in Pro Mix right now. But I've seen a lot of different videos on YouTube about different pH, different varieties of cocoa. I was wondering if you guys could give me a little insight on the whole cocoa grow.
The darker the better. The more decomposed the better.
Yeah.
You don't want a lot of fiber. You want a lot of pith. and aerate it, right? You don't want it to be compacted. So if you're looking to grow straight cocoa, a good mix that's already made, something like Big City Hydro. Ready Grow is a good one. But for the most part, something that you can plant into directly that you're just ready to go. If you're looking at cocoa bricks and stuff, those are more for amending soil mixtures or your raw ground mixture. If you're looking to plant directly into cocoa, I always use a bagged high-pith cocoa and look for more decomposed matter, no green matter, and less fiber.
Look for something.
Wait, go ahead and turn Jerome back on. You're on.
No, when you're getting a cocoa, look for something that's already been pH buffered. That takes a lot of the work out of it, saves you a lot of water. And also look for something that's also charged with CalMag. When you're growing in cocoa, for instance, you're going to uptake a lot more calcium than you would typically. So, anything that's already buffered, already charged with CalMag, it's already a plus.
So if I'm using a nectar line, so if I understand, that's a calcium-based product, right?
The nectar for the gods, nectar of the gods, or whatever. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that it's very popular. I'm not quite sure if it's calcium-based or not, though.
I don't have much knowledge on that, and I don't want to try and act like I do know. But the bottom line is, when you're direct cocoa, you want to use a cocoa-specific nutrient. You want to make sure that you use plenty of cal and mag, as potassium and calcium will be agitated and actually exchange in the cation exchange. But at the end of the day, like Jerome was saying, something that's buffered, already charged with calcium, whether it be from gypsum or calcium nitrate, something that is already cut with perlite, take some of the heavy lifting out of it, and plant directly in that. If you just want to have some aeration and use cocoa in your soil mix, go get a cocoa brick for $3. That's going to give you a couple.
Wash it.
Oh, no, get the Big City mix, the stuff with the perlite, cut with the perlite. That stuff was great.
Yeah, depending on how much perlite your cocoa has in it, sometimes it's probably beneficial to add a little more perlite, especially the bigger, chunkier perlite, like even like a 70-30 cocoa to perlite mix, or even up to 50-50. That'll allow you to water more frequently.
I mean, this My Blue Dove has got me feeling all kinds of ways, Thomas.
Right.
What should I do for you, Thomas? Should I just send you some cocoa nutrients?
That would be great, man. I also have a secondary question.
All right. Go ahead. Greg is here for you.
I've never used a PK booster before. And I've heard a lot of good things about PK boosters. I actually ordered one. Now, do I need to do like a quarter of the recommended dosage on a PK booster so I don't overkill on it? Or is a PK booster, just go straight with it?
Hold on. Greg was going to do it.
No, I'm here to learn at this point. I would defer to you guys on that.
If you're going to use a PK booster, you might want to lower your base nutrient level a little bit, because usually the PK booster will really raise your ppm or EC. And then just like any additive that you're going to use, normally additives are dialed in when it comes to certain things like fulvic acids and like kelp extracts and stuff like that. Depending on the PK booster you're using, some of them are pretty strong. So I would go a quarter to a half strength in the beginning, but make sure you lower your base nutrients by a little bit as well.
Okay, I got you. Sounds good.
Garth, go ahead.
Okay, so when you're using salts, which sounds like what you're doing with the PK booster, I'm not sure. I'm not a PK booster person that knows that. But what you got to do is, there again, you have to have the microbes in there, because if you have a piece of organic matter and a piece of salts, then that plant can uptake it. You need the microbes to not connect those two, and that's what microbes can do. So you can put much more fertilizer and much more things on there without burning. And that's pretty important. You can take your plant right to the edge, much more than you could with anything else, and you'll just see explosive growth.
Yeah, think of those microbes as like your little army. And your army is doing many things. It's protecting your plant from different pathogens, different types of pests and disease, but it's also chelating nutrients to the plant. So what he's trying to say is those salts, it's making those more available and more readily available to the plant so they can uptake them, so you could feed them more without that burn. Right. So just think of them as it's your army that's working for you. So why not have them there?
I like that's going to be our new tagline, Army working for you.
An army of one. Wait, I think that's already taken.
Army of 1,000, I think.
Hey, Thomas, straight up, man, we're going to send you some stuff stuff from General Hydroponics, some Smart Pots, and some Turpinator, along with some more Heavy Tea swag, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Awesome.
All right. Tell all your friends to tune in Heavy Tea Grow Show, 6 o'clock on Wednesdays, all the way till we get shut off.
Cut off.
Until Verizon shuts off our internet connection.
Damn, you still got Verizon? You didn't got that bullshit
Yeah, bro.
Frontier?
This is DSL, dog.
Hell yeah, we got like 5 megabits.
Listen, we got to pay these bills. We're coming back with our guys from Unleash. Unleash Organics, Aquabella, aquabellaorganics.com. Go to social media, Unleash Organic, Facebook, Unleash Organics. What, man? I got.
Hey, does Aquabella contain chlorella?
Maybe not. No, that's a question we'll answer after the break. Heavy Tea's Grow Show, DFCRadio.com. We'll be right back.
I got to unleash your army.
Dig.
There you go.
I be riding through my city. To that all black thing on them things. Haters jaw dropping, looking strange and deranged. I'd advise them lames to remain in their lane. I'm all about my change, even though I'm paid, I never change. I diddy bob on a bad bitch, beast in it, I go savage. Haters stay on that mad shit, cause ain't there bitch in here average. Riding out on that boulevard, turn your neck and I'll pull you broad. Act tough and I'll pull your card, and that's just how the game go. Ain't got no time for no lame hoes and no silly niggas. Hub City nigga, and I'm riding around with these bad hoes, and I'm starting to feel like Diddy nigga. Stunning shades on, I'm in my zone, my bitch a Diddy nigga. More hoes on my phone, hoes in my home, that's on my city nigga. Riding through the city, bad bitch with me. Stunning shades on, feeling like I'm Diddy. Riding through the city, bad bitch with me. Stunning shades on, feeling like I'm Diddy. I be riding through my city. At that all black thing on them things. Haters jaw dropping, looking strange and deranged. I'd advise them lames to remain in their lane. So get up out our way. This 100 entertainment. Dollars over everything, blow cash. Crew coming through, you got no cash. Looking like them niggas that I see before. Low cash, whoa, that's too deep for 'em. Slow it down, easy baby. I'm just keeping it street for 'em. They knowin' now that Beezy Brazy ain't got no time for no lame hoes or no silly nigga. Hub City nigga, I'm riding around with these bad hoes and I'm starting to feel like Diddy nigga. Stunning shades on, I'm in my zone, my bitch a Diddy nigga. More hoes on my phone, hoes in my home, that's on my biddy nigga. Riding through the city, bad bitch with me. Stunning shades on, feeling like I'm Diddy. Riding through the city, bad bitch with me. Stunning shades on, feeling like I'm Diddy. I be riding through my city.
The cannabis portion of this show is designed as entertainment only for legal medicinal cannabis patients over 21 years of age and is not meant to encourage any other activity or use. Yeah, Dick. Have you ever been interested in gardening with dry fertilizers? Well, you're not the only one, and let me tell you about Vermicrop Organics and their line of organic dry fertilizers. Healthy plants with a simple 4-step process. Step 1. Just measure out a half teaspoon per gallon of soil or 2 cups per 12 square feet of soil surface area. Step 2. Apply evenly to the soil surface. Step 3. Blend into the top layer of soil to avoid caking. Step 4. Water thoroughly. And that's it, simple as that. Great for vegetables, fruits, flowers, potted plants, trees, shrubs, annuals, and perennials. It's Vermicrop Organics VermiVeg 744. Along with the VermiBloom and PK Boost, you will have a complete line of organic nutrients and a garden that will thank you with a great harvest. Looking for an even simpler way? Then check out the Vermiol 666. This game-changing mix is formulated for all stages of growth in the fast-paced garden of champion vegetable and flower growers. And check out the VermiBat Guano Fertilizer and the VermiBlood Blood Meal Fertilizer for feeding oversized, nitrogen-hungry plants. Learn more at vermicrop.com. That's vermicrop.com.
Sorry, Horty. Game over.
I tell you, this is the life.
Ever since we started working here at Sanctuary Soil, I couldn't be happier. It's nice to work at a place where they treat you like the artist that you are.
Tell me about it. So many places just throw you in the dirt, feed you junk, and drip water on your head.
Yeah, sounds more like torture than a job.
And how do they expect you to do great things when they don't give you the right tools? I can't do it if you treat me like garbage.
I hear ya. You give me the highest quality organic materials like woody biomass and grasses, put me in a healthy, clean environment, and I can practically poop gold.
Not to mention alfalfa meal, arborist material. They even bathe us in a healthy biological tea full of enzymes and other good stuff. You know, I get a little choked up just thinking about how all those customers are gonna benefit from the hard work we put into providing them with the best products available.
I just wish more companies were like Sanctuary Soil. It's nice to work with people who care about their customers and care about the environment.
Yeah, this is the life. Hey, I'm pretty full. Think it's about time to go make some magic, if you know what I mean.
Well, a worm's work is never done.
See you in a few.
You got anything to read? This could take a while.
Sanctuary Soil's Buckaroo brand premium worm casting, the all-in-one soil amendment that's safe for the environment, children, and pets. For more information and to see a list of current retailers, visit our site at sanctuarysoil.com.
Hey, man, started early, huh?
Hey, Dr. Duff, are you signing up for another one of those internet dating sites after your divorce?
Nah, I'm just ordering these freaking douchebags from China here. Just gonna be saving a lot of money on it. About $1 a bag.
Did you say douchebags?
Yeah, they're pots. They're fabric pots. They're, made in China. You know, they save $1 a bag from all the other.
Oh, it sounds like an imitation smart pot or something.
Yeah, save $1, but, I'm pretty sure these douchebags are gonna work.
Dude, I had a buddy of mine who used those same douchebags. He bought them direct from China. It killed his whole garden.
Bro, what? So, I'm better off spending that extra $1 on a smart pot?
I'd get a smart pot.
Don't be a Duff man. Make sure to buy the original patented Smart Pot. Check them out at smartpots.com.
Hey, I'm in the zone.
Dude, this shit is So you're big time, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
You're listening to Heavy T's Grow Show. Call in right now, 562-653-0707 for your chance to talk to Heavy T, Horty Chris, and the Duff Man only on DFCRadio.com.
The next level of growing is here. The growing revolution is here. DFCRadio.com. DFCRadio.com.
I got the 900 sitting on golden wheels. Chrome engraved, get my bones to chill. All the lovely ladies wanna know the feel, cause I got a lot of danger and sex appeal. Got the Katie on the right, and shine at night. Remind me of my diamonds, shine that bright. She wanna feel the power between the wheels. Come on, baby girl, let me show you the deal. Cause see, I'm a rider, I'm a night rider, low profiler, glide on them tires. You ain't see nothing till you see me flying by. In the fast lane, stunting, in the fast lane, gunning. To the rush and the thrills, thrust and peel. Take skills to ride, cause it's custom built. Yeah, right down the highway. I'm in my zone, get out of my way. I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. S-T-U-N-T-R-I-D-E. That's how it be. I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. Full throttle off the jump, I'm in control. Can't nobody stop me when I'm in my zone. Check the paint and chrome, inside and out. Switch your lanes as I roll. I think I take the side route. I'm running out of road. I think I'll fly south. I'm running out of dro. Yeah, this is rider season. This for the ride.
Yo, what's going on? We're just here with Unleash Wood Inoculant. Oh, yeah.
Cougar.
That's childproof.
Unleash your army.
Unleash your army. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, brother. They're coming this summer in a garden near you, in a root zone made for another world. Rhizophere. Unleash.
He likes the heavy breathing thing.
Enzyme. Yes, I do. I'm very audible. Is it audible? Something like that. You know. Go ahead. What's going on? Call in 562-653-0707. We have Greg over here. Greg, you had something to say?
Not just yet. Let's
all right. We'll hold on to that thought for a second.
Aluminium.
You know that Cheeto in charge put that tariff on aluminium.
I should have known it was going to be like this.
But you know what? In Michigan now you get 15 cents a can. All right, let's go to Corey in Tejas. Corey.
Hello?
Yes. How you doing, Hans?
About compost tea.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I had a question about what's a good mix for one for veg.
All right, go. Hey, big red tomato. Go ahead.
Tomato.
Look how red this motherfucker is. Can we get a picture of this?
Big red tomato.
I'm
bad lighting. It's bad lighting. I didn't have a good makeup person. Jeez.
Yeah, my hair is thick as fuck.
I have a face for radio. Come on.
Okay, compost tea.
Compost tea. I mean, our product Unleash is really a compost.
Listen up.
You put it in. Mix it in water. You let it sit for 48 hours, and you put it on the plant. It's a compost tea that's just super simple. You don't have to do all the many different things because compost teas are great. They really work, but they have a very short life, and you got to do a lot of work to put them all together correctly. And this one, you just take 1 milliliter per gallon, and boom, it's there. Nice. I mean, yeah.
Is there activating compost tea? This is one of the things coming into my store on the show. People want to know, when do I mix it in the water? Do you give it a squirt? You mix in 1 ml a gallon? Do you wait 24 hours? Do you agitate it?
A big secret here. Okay?
All right, come on.
This is probably part of a proprietary thing I shouldn't say. But what we need to do is get the pH back up because they're in hibernation. So you put them in enough water, then they come out of hibernation, and then they're live and working well. So they have a 2-year shelf life. Probably actually longer, but I don't. Well, I can say that. I did, I guess.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But this guy over here. I'm going to get him.
Come on.
Big red tomato's going to get you.
Are you saying that the pH gets to like a neutral level, and then the bacteria and microbes bring the pH to where it needs to be?
No. I'm saying that the microbes are in hibernation.
In hibernation at a lower pH, so when the pH goes up, it activates them.
Well, how do we know they're activated? I usually look at the froth of my compost tea to determine the activation. Is that not a good determination?
I'm sure it is for compost tea. I don't know. I just know in 48 hours ours is ready to go, and it's good to go.
So you take the guess out of it.
Yeah, it's easy.
Guess out of it. For other compost teas, you're a compost guy. You like to make your compost teas.
I just fed tea today.
Well, what are some of your favorites?
Well, today, one of my favorite go-to teas for years has always been the OG BioOr, the Bio Brew. You'll use approximately 2 ounces of root pack, 2 ounces of the foliar pack, in conjunction with, I use personally 2 cups of earthworm castings per 4 gallons of brew, and then they'll recommend a molasses. I've always used Grandma's unsulfured molasses as a carbohydrate, but I've also been a believer when I'm feeding the tea to give them different carbohydrate sources to pull from, whether it's a humic, a fulvic, different types of carbohydrates. I think benefit a wider range and diversity of microbes at that point, because certain ones are going to flourish more on certain types of carbohydrates than others.
True.
Yeah, for most of the times I'm using raw materials to make a compost tea. Where you're using compost, where you're looking at basically a biodiversity that you have composted down from, or starting with a compost. You're looking at 24 hours to 40 hours of activation, and that froth on top, whether you're feeding it a food or not, is going to basically indicate the activation process. And as that froth starts to be diminished, things are becoming less and less active. And maybe that is something like not necessarily what you're talking about of the pH being activated or whatnot, but once the microbes in Unleash are activated,
they have 5 days.
And then from that point,
they're going to diminish.
They're gone.
They become anaerobic and it stinks your tea.
We have anaerobic, heterotrophic, and trophic.
A lot of trophics going on.
Wow. Yeah.
So Corey, the bottom line is no matter what you do, if you want a fungal dominant or a bacterial dominant, is have a good food source for them. If you have something like the Unleashed that is an all-in-one that you can use, that may be something that you want to try out. But also, if you're going to go fungal dominant or bacterial dominant, it's usually based on vegetative or bloom growth. Most people will go fungal dominated during veg and bacterial dominated during bloom. Okay, so you might use a ancient forest, a hummus, which is highly fungal during veg, and a worm casting as a base for a brew during bloom.
No, party on Garth. Garth was raising his hand. Dude.
Garth, are you?
I'm raising my hand again, like woo, like
okay.
the guy in the back of the room.
Don't make any noises. Go ahead, Garth.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say. That's
all right. Good. Shout out to Corey. Corey, I'm gonna send you the entire vermicrop line, brother. All of the raw ingredients ready to go. You can mix them into water, or you can top dress them. The vermiol, the vermi-pack guano, the blood meal, the veg, the bloom, and also a swag pack that includes some smart pots for you, brother.
Yeah.
Corey.
All right.
All
yeah,
right,
I'm
man.
here.
Thank you, dude. Corey may have been confused.
He was like, what?
Allegedly.
What?
Alicia wants to talk to Greg.
What?
Alicia, you like Greg's accent?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so my question is about flowering, and I also have an auto raspberry cough, and the flowering time said about 7 days. I put it in soil March the 30th, and it seems like it's taking a little while to flower. Something to do to speed that up, or should I just let it run its natural course, like?
You guys
it's an auto flower?
Yes.
Yes, it's auto flower.
And it said that it's how long to harvest?
It says 70 days.
Okay, it's probably 70 days after it starts to flower. And
70 days after flower? Okay.
Once it starts to flower. So like it's gonna veg to as long as it wants to, and then once it gets to a certain level, it's gonna start to flower automatically. If it's not flowering, I wouldn't even start to count the 70 days until you start to see the white hairs growing on the plant and the tip of the plant start to not have leaves coming out anymore, but more looking like it's a Q-tip.
I love when
it starts to crown.
Right, I can see the white flowerings that started already. That has already started, but I didn't know. You're right.
Okay,
so
and
that's that point.
But is the top of the plant still putting out fresh leaves, or is it also starting to just have the white flowers?
The white flower at the top.
Okay, and how long ago did that start?
Probably about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, then you're probably about 21 days in and probably have about 50 to go.
Okay.
You should be feeding it a bloom formula as well.
And
I've been doing that.
You just turned my mic off then? Yeah, you better wish my mic's motherfucking off.
You on.
You better pray to baby Jesus.
He's here.
All
and
right.
his golden baby fleece diaper.
Made of aluminium.
And then make sure that whoever told you to grow auto flowers, you go punch straight in the face afterwards. Hey, listen, we do this once a show, and we're not going to beat Alicia up. And a lot of people say grow auto flowers. We don't prefer them. Can you give them an insight a little bit, Jerome, why we don't prefer auto flowers?
Well, it's just like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
That's true. You can only start from seed. You can't start from cuts.
It just ain't natural.
And then once you get it, you can never replicate it because that shit's already flowering.
Yep. It's done. It's one and done every time. And it might be good one time. It might be good. It might suck. A lot of times people are like, oh, I love this particular autoflower, but it's like they get 100 seeds and it's 50 different results.
And Alicia just said, well, you know it's easy. And
yeah, but it's been manipulated so much you don't know having consistency in your
nothing worth doing is easy.
Okay.
Come on, Garth.
Well, see, it's my first
Come on, Garth. How'd you get that Breitling watch? What's it called? Breitbart?
I pimped myself out for it.
Breitling. Yeah, no. I guess it is easy if you're just starting out because you just plant the seed. Once it pops, you let it grow. It grows. It starts to flower. It flowers. It's done. But it's not that much harder to get a seed that is even a feminized non-auto flower and grow it until it gets to a certain height. Like, for instance, how tall is your plant right now?
2 inches.
I don't even know. It's getting taller. That's why I thought I was like...
Right. Okay, it's getting taller, but this is what I'm trying to ask you. How, like, can you guess how tall it is? Like, is it a foot tall?
About
That's what she said to you.
Okay, it's a foot tall. So a foot tall plant probably is not big enough to yield very well. Okay, but you can't control how big it's going to be when it's an autoflower.
Ding, ding.
Some of them will get 3 feet tall. Some of them will be 6 inches tall, no matter how good you do, because they're just it is what they are. With a plant where the only difference between an autoflower and a feminized seed or even a non-feminized seed that happens to be a female is
photo plant.
That you're going to have to personally change the photo period to the 12 hours on, 12 hours off versus you could just leave it on all the time with an autoflower, right? That one little thing is so easy to do with a timer, and then you can grow the plant tall enough to where the yield will be what you're looking for.
Okay.
Where with an autoflower, it's just a crapshoot. You hope to get something, but it could take 70 days. And how many 70 days do you have in a year? 5? So 5 times you're going to harvest, and it's going to be 70 days on a foot-tall plant. You're not going to get enough flower off of that plant to make it another 70 days without having to go buy some more flower from someone else, right?
And realistically, guys, the autoflower isn't that much easier. Like, just you talking about what it takes and what you have to do and whatnot. It's the same things that you would have to do for a photoperiod plant. It's
right, but that's what I'm saying. The only thing that makes it easier is
the same amount of labor that you would have to do just in different ways.
The only thing that would make it easier for a newbie first timer is they don't have to worry about fucking up having the lights on and off the proper amount of time.
Or maybe they don't have
very
a tent
simple
or
to do. Yeah, it's just very simple to do. But if you have a tent, an area you can keep dark, just set a timer. When you're ready to go to flower, set the timer to 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and now you're going to start flowering. And that's the only thing that's really different between the two plants when it comes to ease of use.
Right, so you
My
can't do
hairline
that with
wants
the
to stay.
auto, right? So like
No.
12 hours and versus that.
No, because
it
it starts to flower when it wants to.
Right, okay.
It's going to tell you what to do.
You know, I got a question for all the autoflower growers.
All right, since we have one here, she'll answer.
Alicia, did you pick it because it said autoflower? You're like, oh, that's just automatic. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, she did. That's what she just said.
She just said she's trying to keep it easy, but I'm telling her it's
Well,
not.
I mean, it's my first time, so when I asked, like, what would be the best for a new person, they were like, oh, try the autoflower. It'd probably be easiest for someone that's new. So I'm like, okay, but I didn't realize, I see everyone else's pictures. I'm like, oh, shit, that shit is wrong. Like, what's
Look, all the good shit you ever see is not an autoflower.
Hey, can I get some? What did the pastor say when he saw the autoflower photos? Oh, you even got that ready? Way to go, sound guy. I'm glad that we pay you to be here.
That worked out so good.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, girl, on your,
So
hey, get through this run. Do your autoflower.
As
but
smooth as
I would
the South guy's
probably,
Australian accent.
if I was you, I would try to maybe find something that's just at least feminized, so you don't have to worry about they're all males or what you know that they're going to be females. That's the next step in ease of use, and start germinating them and start vegging them out and getting them ready. So when your autoflower is done and you pull it out of there, you can throw the other plants in there and get them ready to flip into flower.
Well, I feel stupid because I got a bunch of autoflowers I purchased.
That's all right. Sell those to your friends.
Yeah, sell them to your friends.
We're like, look at this. It's halfway in bud. Take it.
Trade them for some aluminium.
Flip into flower. I like that.
All right. Alicia, I'm going to send you some of the Mission Fertilizer. The complete line, the Grow, the Bloom, the Enhance, the Crazy Swell. I'm also going to send you some green pads, the originals. Hang them up, whether it's autoflower or photoperiod plants. CO2 is a crucial part of photosynthesis. Actually, photosynthesis cannot happen without CO2. Alicia, did you know that?
No.
Of course you didn't. You're growing autoflowers. So we're going to add more CO2, and the CO2 is going to rain down on your plants. GreenPathCO2.com
The
and some swag
tomatoes
packs.
are going to suck it up.
Yes, absolutely, Tomato Man. Thank you, Alicia. Bye-bye.
You guys are awesome.
I love you, girl. You're so hot. 562-653-0707. Paula, it's ladies' night here at Heavy T's Grove Show. You know it's ladies' night. Paula was growing right. She hung up.
Hello?
Hello?
She left.
What up, girl?
What's up?
Not much, just thinking about
I
you.
want to know how to get my buds to be more compact, not so loose and airy.
You need those buds to be tighter?
Yes.
This is a common problem. Guys, how do you help her out?
Well, there's many reasons for light and airy flowers. It can be lack of light. It can be the genetics that you're using. It can also be that you're harvesting it too early.
Heat like a motherfucker.
It could be heat, other things that cause the plant to grow slower and doesn't fill out. So really, like, you're asking us a question like that needs a lot more background. So let's try this. Like, for instance, what strain are you growing?
Well, I grew numerous strains.
Okay.
I grew, the last one was Purple Urkel.
Okay.
And I grew a couple cookies.
All right.
Okay. Okay, now let me ask you this then.
And they're all the same, same result.
You're always getting like...
All of them the same, end result. Too
Okay.
fluffy.
Okay, well...
Good weed, nice, get you really high, but really
less talking, more listening.
All right, come on, Paula.
Okay, so
Horty Chris going to run you down the line and ask you some questions.
Yeah, so here we go. How big of an area are you growing in?
5 by 5,
And what size light are you using?
1,200 watts.
1,200 watts of LED?
Yes.
What's the draw at the wall?
The what?
She wouldn't.
The actual wattage. It's probably like 300 watts.
She says it's 1,200 watts.
Yeah, but that's
what kind of LED are you using?
Are you even in California, by the way?
Yes, I'm in California.
Can you? Okay, she's got real purple.
Shut him off. Shut him off.
Okay, so
hit her up?
you're using 1,200 watts, and what's the temperature? Are you in a tent?
Yes.
What's the temperature in your tent?
Oh, it ranges because it's in my garage.
Okay, but what does it range between?
About 70 degrees and above, maybe up to about 80.
Okay,
not
so
bad.
70 to 80, and how far off the tops of the plants do you have your LED?
Oh, about a good 3 feet.
Okay, you have it 3 feet above, and how many plants do you have in this 5 by 5 area?
I have 12 plants.
And how tall are the plants when they're in flower?
Yes.
How tall are the plants when they're in flower?
Oh, that's tall. It's probably about 5 foot.
Okay, so here's where we're at. You have 12 plants that are
Ding,
5
ding,
feet
ding.
tall. They have stretched miserably because they're way overcrowded.
And they're competing.
And they're competing with each other. And you have a lot of lower growth that's not getting the light. So you're ending up with
Right.
these small little wispy flowers. If you have 12 plants in a 5 by 5, you'll probably want to flip those into bloom at
About 16 inches.
At about 12 to 16 inches, and you probably will have wanted to have topped them beforehand. Also, you don't want to mix a bunch of strains because they'll grow at different heights at different speeds.
I only usually do 2 strains.
But even if you do 2 strains and they're like one finishes in 7 weeks and one finishes in 10 or 12,
Right.
then you're feeding them incorrectly, and one may be taller than the other, or grow lankier, or so now it's shading out the other plant and it's not getting as much light. So, like I told someone earlier on the show, when your canopy from a bird's eye view from above, when 2/3 of the canopy, the area that you have the plants in, is covered in vegetation, go to bloom.
Okay, 2/3 of it?
Yeah, so not when it's completely all filled out and full of a nice big huge canopy, because once you flip the flower, they still continue to grow for a couple weeks, right?
Right.
So when about 2/3 to when a half to 2/3 of the canopy has plant, when you look down from the top, when you only see small holes, but it's pretty much about 2/3 of the way covered, you should be going to bloom.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's going to help you keep the plant shorter with more tighter internode spacing. The tighter the internode spacing, the tighter that the flowers will grow together.
Larger the fruit
the
set.
larger the fruit set's going to be. And also with the plants not being so tall, it won't take as much energy to move the nutrients that high up the plant.
Not to mention, Horty, she's creating microenvironments with these large plants that the wind can't move through, the air can't move through, the light can't penetrate. So you have different degrees in this garden. You have the tops that should be growing solid, but as you go down, there's no wind. There's more potential for bugs and pathogens because of those microenvironments. Spreading them out and pruning and training is so healthy for your plants, Paula. It's one of the best things that you can do. And you may want to start with 12, but as those 12s grow up, pick 6 of the strongest ones and murk the other 6 and celebrate that murking. Right? This is the purge, girl.
Or you can do your 12, but flip to bloom quicker.
I have done consultations with small growers, and I sit there and I'm pruning their plants out, or even taking plants and removing entire plants, or just removing branches. And they're looking at me like I'm
killing their plants off,
killing their children.
Yeah,
right.
You're stripping it down to almost
I'm the
nothing.
worst of the worst. I need to register as a plant offender. Right? No, this is a healthy thing for the plants to have some room to stretch their wings. So all this energy we're putting in indoors, it's a finite amount. It's not like the sun where we can plant just rows and rows of plants because the sun is so intense and they can grow all of them. We have this small enclosed area where now we have so many plants competing for the finite energy resource of the light. As they grow, they're going to shade each other. They're going to push each other out of survival of the fittest, and you're never going to accommodate that many plants in that small an area of that size. If you wanted that many plants,
you need
do
to
more of
flip them
a sea of green at 12
just
inches.
smaller plants.
Don't even top them, and you'll be good to go. But literally in that area, I know a guy that won the grow off, right? He has a championship belt and he wears it around on his forehead like a fucking schmuck.
He sponsors his own Instagram post about it.
He's a super douche about it, right? He works at DFZ Radio.
No, I'm just trying to get somebody
Hey,
with a
you're
lot
not
of money
back
to
on.
pay.
Shut up.
Why'd you turn him back on? He's eating pizza.
But
No one wants to hear him
he
chewing.
can grow in that with 1,000 watt with one plant and branching it out at about 2 to 3 feet, but making the plant grow laterally, right, horizontally rather than vertically. Get you 3 pounds out of that. And with what you're doing in those 12 plants, you're not going to get fucking 1 pound out of that because you're going to have a bunch of larvae.
Right, you have to to have the 12. You're going to have to keep them really short.
So
Also, Heavy T, I just wanted to ask her, like,
hold on.
with your yields, the bottom, are you trimming off the stuff underneath that isn't getting light?
Yes.
You're
and I pick leaves, so many leaves. I tried to
Right,
get
but your
the
plants
skin
are
with
5 feet
with
tall.
5 foot tall plants in that, and I bet they're really skinny branches, and they have huge spaces between the
Grab
leaves.
your mic.
Right?
I want you to help out
because
Jerome.
you're overcrowded.
Jerome, explain to her how a scrog, because your trellis method, and which is a scrog method where you're making the plant grow horizontally. What does that do for the plant? It basically makes every bud side a top, right? You're back on. Come on, we're fucking with you. Talk to Paula. You're not gonna leave
Don't
Paula
talk to her.
hanging.
You
gonna
cut
leave
off
Paula
the
hanging.
apical steramen.
Yeah.
No, they just cut me off because they can't handle the truth.
Motherfucker, I just spoke the truth.
And on that note, union time.
Yeah.
So listen, this is what I wanted him to say, Paula. When you take a plant that's growing vertically, 12 plants growing vertically, you don't have enough room to spread them out. When you have a couple plants, 6, maybe even less, and you take those plants and take a trellis, push the plants down so they're growing horizontally, laterally, right, rather than vertically.
Right.
Every one of those flower sites now will turn towards the light and grow like a top. So when it's growing vertically, there's an inverse relation to the amount of energy each bud is getting to how far it's away. So if you're 3 feet away, you're getting 1/3 of the original energy coming off that light, which is going to create some larvae, leafy BS. But if you turn that branch sideways and you're able to lower that light down 24 inches right off each one of those bud sites, each one grows like a top and each one's thick and heavy. One of the best things to increase your weight, increase your density, is to prune and use a scrog method. All right. If you need to have some examples, they're all over Google and stuff. I can't necessarily show you right now on air, but go follow Heavy T Grow Show. I have examples of it on my Instagram that you can go and look at.
Yeah, it's basically an espalier, right?
Already.
Yep. And of course, use some Unleash.
If you don't have microbes in your soil, you are not going to grow anything worth a damn.
We're gonna help Homegirl bring out the full genetic potential and send her some Terpinator and a Heavy Tea swag pack. The Terpinator is $70 value, along with a bunch of other goodies from Heavy Tea. Paula, thank you so much. Love, girl.
Yep.
Smoke weed every day, grow it even more. Heavy Tea's Grow Show. We're coming right back with more of your grow questions, as well as more Greg. I know you're holding your breath. We'll see what he has to say. The anticipation is thick. DFZ Radio, you dig?
If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. Rest in peace, Bob Marley. My blunt got a cold cut, Steve Harvey. I catch the buds with my glove, Steve Garvey. Quick to roll in the club, cause we party. They asking where the bomb at, cause everybody in the club smell that. It's Breeze, get loaded TV, smoke about a pound every day of the week. Roll so fast you didn't see him coming your way. Turned around and there was a blunt up in your face. You must have thought that I was finished. The Breeze is never stingy with the spinach. Rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt.
I love the stickiest weed, cause I'm a Cali baby. Started from that chocolate tie from them early 80s. Now it's OG, a perfect mix with my OE. The shot of lean had a G moving slowly. Apparently, you ain't never smoked like me. Load these switches up like they was some magazines. I got some bad bitches rolling up blunts for me. Hop in the rotation, true story you can see. Even your bitch eyeballing wanna hit the tree. Smoking on weed, living life with my homie Breeze. I got that green thumb, I grow my own fucking weed. And if I got some problems, I'm hitting Heavy Tea.
Rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt.
DFZRadio.com.
Hey, bro, your garden's looking sweet, man. What are you using?
Yeah, man, I'm using a premium cocoa nutrient, Cocoa Tech A and B, man. It's an aggressive formula for increased yield during the flowering phase.
Wow, so this is made specially for cocoa?
You better believe it, man. It comes with easy-to-use 2-part formula. Formulated aggressive growth and superior blooms.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah, man. Tell 'em, Bob.
This aggressive formula contains proprietary blends of calcium to ensure your plants thrive. Backed by years of research, Cocoa Tech Premium Cocoa Nutrients are specifically designed to support and enhance your cocoa core growing experience. Use Cocoa Tech Premium Nutrients with Cocoa Tech Premium Cocoa Core for optimum results.
Yeah, man.
So you're big time, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
Are you ready to start cloning but don't know where to start? HDI has you covered, the only propagation-focused company. HDI was founded in 1997 and is the master distributor of Clonex throughout North America, like the Clonex rooting gel, which has been on the market since 1988, EPA registered and approved for use on food crops and cannabis. It's the only rooting gel approved by the Washington and Colorado Department of Agriculture for propagating cannabis plants, used by thousands of plant nurseries, commercial growers, scientists, and greenhouse growers with billions of clones successfully rooted. That's Clonex rooting gel. But healthy clones start with healthy mothers. And with Mother Plant from HDI, you are fulfilling the nutritional needs of mother plants without excess nitrates, supporting strong, vibrant clones. And now you're ready for some Clonex Mist, a ready-to-use foliar spray for mother plants, cuttings, and rooting clones. Pop your clones into Root Riot plant starter cubes, and they are safe for use in hydroponic systems and are a proprietary blend of micronutrients that is certified food safe. And don't forget to add the mycorrhiza with Clonex Root Maximizer, a mycorrhizae fungi, beneficial bacteria, and trichoderma that increases the surface area of your plant's roots, allowing the plants to access more nutrients and water. And don't forget to feed with Clonex Clone Solution, formulated for rooted clones and seedlings, a special blend of minerals and vitamins that encourage rapid root development. So no matter what your propagation needs are, remember HDI has you covered. Check them out at hydrodynamicsintl.com. That's hydrodynamicsintl.com.
Hey, I'm in the zone.
Dude, you're gonna go get the green pad, see? That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go get it right now. Going down to your local hydro shop. Tell him Shunny sent you. That's right, Shunny with the green pad. More CO2 in your garden. More carbon, more weight, see? You need to get that weight up to pay me back, see, Shunny? Go get the green pad junior. Put it in your cloning dome, see? You're gonna get some more roots faster. Cut days off your cloning time. More harvest year round. That's right, see? Activated by humidity. 35 to 50%, so make sure that's right, okay? Go to your local hydro shop, see?
That's right. Go there now. More root, more fruit, more fruit, more root.
That's right.
Yeah. Meow. Meow.
Yo, it's BKJ on Team King, and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
Okay, got your ballasts check, reflectors check, fans check, just about ready to get growing. The last thing you need is your bulbs.
Let me get like 12 of, whatever's the cheapest you got.
Bro, really? You're using the best soils, best nutrients, best equipment, and you're going to use an Econo brand lamp? If you really want the best of the best, you need to go with the Ushio Hilux Grow Lamp. Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps have the highest quality and consistency in their construction, and they're engineered to give your plants the light spectrum they need for the best growth and biggest harvest. Plus, Ushio is the only company that offers 2100 micromole light output without needing to overdrive your lamps and ballasts. That means more light for your plants and longer light for your lamps.
Wow, I had no idea. Okay, sold. Give me the Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps.
Professional growers know not every lamp will give plants what they need to optimize their growth and yields and maximize profits. That's why the pros choose Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps. Offered in a full range of high-pressure sodium, metal halide, and ceramic metal halide options, Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps ensure that your plants are covered from seed to harvest no matter what lighting system you're using. For over 50 years, Ushio has been a trusted name and a leader in specialty lighting, and they stand by the name with a no questions asked 1-year warranty. So whether you run 5 lights or 500, you can be confident that you're buying the best horticulture lamps on the market. Ask for Ushio Hilux Grow Lamps and make sure to check them out online at www.ushio.com.
The cannabis portion of this show is designed as entertainment only for legal medicinal cannabis patients over 21 years of age and is not meant to encourage any other activity or use. Yeah, Dick.
DFZRadio.com.
Yeah. Naps. Knock off. What up, Saint? And we hustle hard. Team ADXN. Hey, what these niggas want from me? Haters wanna eat now, you never get lunch from me. Get off my tailcoat, get off addiction. Team full of mean niggas, team green like it's Listerine. Don't cross the squad, man, we get them off, man. We on the front court shooting, you just a ball fan. I'm on the top back, y'all do it all bad. Grind on the regular, tell competitors all bad. test the team, homie. Watch you fall flat. Don't want the fame, but the change, I need all that. Hustlers get your guap up, rappers get your props up. Cause sky is the limit and we got heaven on lock up. Back down to earth, street swerving down Atlantic. Long Beach riding to death, we straight smashing. This is for my family, this is for the masses. This ADX anthem in case anyone asks me. I'm taking this shit head on. In the streets till 6 in the morning. Niggas don't want no ruckus. Tell me who won it with these shots up, boys. We say hustling. Catch me in the booth to the night. Streets holding tight. Grind for my life on a license. Niggas don't want no ruckus. Bring the bullshit and we'll be dumping. Boy, we say hustling.
Hey, I rep my team, rep my city, and rep my scene. I'm down for mine, on the grind all the time, like overtime. X, I ride to the death, can't do it like this, so don't try to step. Can't move it like this, so don't try to test. Got shotters on the side of me, right and my left, cause we do it so swift, we do it so sick, and we ain't gonna stop. We got money to get, we got honeys to flip. Got the streets on lockdown, so why would we stop now? We holding the spot down. Sour diesel Hennessy, a bad bitch next to me. ADX teaming, going down up in history. Do it to the death of me, so ain't nothing left of me. Dumping off the weaponry, hold it down for centuries.
Taking this shit head on. In the streets till 6 in the morning. Niggas don't want no ruckus. Tell me who won it with these shots up, boys. We say hustling. Catch me in the booth to the night. Streets holding tight. Grind for my life on a license. Niggas don't want no ruckus. Bring the bullshit and we'll be dumping. Boy, we say hustling.
Oh, that's my boy Saint 68. That's right, girls. You go down in the Ozy one. Oh man, boom boom, way over all your heads. I know. Hefty's Grow Show got pizza in my mouth. Corey Chris has something to say.
Garden Culture Magazine. Great magazine. And it's free. You can usually pick it up at your local hydro store. It's also available online. Garden Culture is written by our boy Eric Kaloum. And the latest edition in the U.S. and Canada is the issue 20 of 2018. And it's the Great USA and Canada Hydro Store Survey Edition, which is always a good one.
No one surveyed me.
And it also has an article by yours truly, Horty Chris, on the importance of indoor air filtration.
There's the downfall of garden culture.
Read it there in Garden Culture.
Why didn't you tell us?
Sink or swim, Eric. Sink or swim. Keep going, Horty.
Oh, that's all.
What does it say about you?
It doesn't say, it's an article I wrote about the importance of air filtration for indoor gardening.
And what about air filtration for your cold air intake on your Audi S6?
That's also good because it gives you more horsepower.
Got more power.
And it's made of aluminium, so it's much lighter than the stock parts, and it increases torque as well.
All right, mate. Listen, 562-653-0707. That is the phone number. We're here with Greg and Garth. I mean, Greg, being the regional sales guy, and, you know, you're very candid about not being the grow guy.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know a good product and know what the feedback has been from growers in the shops. Can you give the listeners a reason to go get some Unleashed root inoculant?
Well, I mean, you know, Garth has touched on this. I think that the experience that we've had with all the growers we've worked with have been really, really quite amazing. And the increases in yield, typically we see anything between 20 and 30%. And what we've been doing recently, and you know, we hope to soon have some you know, very scientific lab results to back this up. But we've been seeing huge increases in THC and CBD. We don't have anything that really resembles a perfect comparison of, you know, two.
Well, it's hard when it's federally illegal to do a case study.
well, it is. Yeah. You know, we had an accredited lab do some testing on one mango strain that one of our growers up in Salinas used, and what they said was that it was the highest THC and CBD they'd seen in that strain. And that was using Unleashed root inoculant. Yeah,
that's dope.
That's a good reason.
Well, how about for you, Garth, from an agricultural background of what it can do for the plant?
it provides the basis for everything a plant needs to survive. I mean, you got to have the microbes break down the material that's in the soil so the plant can uptake it. If you don't, you're going to have wimpies. Okay, let me go back for a second. Agriculture.
Rewind.
Agriculture, in general, they put tons of salts on the ground, and they got lots of good growth, right? But what they didn't understand is microbes were not doing very well with the salts in the soil.
It dehydrates their bodies,
it's
right?
not a perfect,
It's
it's
like
really
pouring salt
bad.
on a slug.
Wow, who knew that? Or Nabaloni. They're both hemophiliacs.
I've been having my wife take tequila shots out of my business for a while. But, you know.
Okay, so where's I go?
Yeah, basically.
So, where's I going?
The reasons
that was really good. Whatever I smoked.
The reasons to be using, first off, this is what I want from you. Being an agricultural guy, a grower, the sterile guy that doesn't use any microbes. Why they should be using microbes, and maybe the difference between using something that's suspended in liquid compared to a powder form.
So, if you don't use microbes in your soil somehow by turning over your crops, letting it sit for a while, which is, I don't know what they call crop rotation, or putting in a cover crop, or if you got to put microbes back in, if you don't put them back into the soil, your plants will slowly start not doing well. And we saw that in agriculture for years, and people still don't quite understand it because it uses up. It's finite. So put more in, and this way you have just a ready-made boom. You know, it just makes it happen.
Right, and compared to the powder, which we touched on earlier, and it was opposite of what we would think about being powders degrading over time compared to being suspended. And you said being suspended was giving
bam. I mean,
giving a bigger bam to the plants when
so
needed.
Here you are, you're putting this liquid over your plant roots. As it goes down, the microbes connect to the root hairs, and you inoculate your plant. If you put, you can, like mycorrhiza, you have to rub the roots basically to make sure it's inoculated, right? So it's kind of the same thing. If you're not rubbing your roots with your granular, you're really not doing it any service.
Yep.
It'll work, but it won't work as well. Liquid just connects.
And then we also have the concentrated form, the biofilm buster, that is a concentrated form that you can use in a recirculating hydro. You're basically using beneficials in a recirculating.
Put it in your res. Put it in your drip system. You won't believe it. It will just clean it up. It's the only thing in the world I know I've ever seen like this, and it just eats biofilm. It also takes out calcium. It'll break down calcium, iron, and any other really calcification mineral type things that will clog you up. It'll actually break it down so the plant can use it. You'll have more calcium.
So this is something not just for cleaning out your system at the end of a run. You're saying you could use it in conjunction with your regular feedings.
You've been
and
listening?
No. Well, no. A lot of people need a reminder, dude.
No, if you're using
right.
organics,
Thank you.
if you're using organics, your pipes are going to get clogged up. It's
I
just
know,
the way it is.
Metamucil for me.
I mean, people are already thinking, I'm feeding fucking biologicals, and this is cutting down on biofilm. Can I feed it with it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Go to Aquabella Organics or follow them on Instagram at Unleash Organic or on Facebook at Unleash Organics. It's the Unleash Root Inoculant that we are talking about. Let's go back to the phone lines and use some of your guys' big brains here to help them. Yes, sir. How can I help you? All right, I'll pack one in a second. MC Flurry or Mick Flurry. Mick Flurry.
Hey, I have a question.
Is this
recently,
fucking Mick
like,
Blurry? Hold on. Is this fucking Blur?
Yeah, it's Blur.
You motherfucker. Swear to God. People always try to slide you in. You playing these games. I'm going to allow you a question, but if you get out of control and talk about like manhoeing and stuff by the Carson Center, I'm hanging
or spend the night at my house because my bedroom's so big.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to go.
Wow, this is too deep for me.
This is
a serious question, MC.
All right.
Okay,
Blur has problems more than in the show.
Manhoeing, and you said spend the night.
There's sometimes some occasions where I spill my beer. Like, what's the negative outcome that outcomes I could have on my garden?
Of what?
Spilling beer.
Spilling beer.
Spilling beer.
It's a carbohydrate, dude.
Where
it's fine.
did you spill the beer on indoor or outdoor plants?
Indoor.
Well, why are you drinking beers over top of your plants?
Yeah, bro.
Because I like to work.
Drunk.
Do my gardening and drink at the same time.
You'll be okay.
Hey, do you like to play pool?
Huh?
Do you like to play pool?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Do you like to play pool? Billiards, 8-ball, the pool?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you like to play pool, right? Do you drink your beer over the top of the pool table, or do you set your beer on the pool table?
Yeah. I like to drink beer doing anything I do.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is, when you're playing pool, do you set your fucking beer on the pool table? No, that's one of the number one fucking rules of pool, because what's going to happen? You're going to spill it on the goddamn felt and fuck up the pool table. So you don't drink your fucking beer when you're standing over your plant. You put the beer on a fucking bar table off to the side of your plants, and when you feel thirsty and need a sip, you walk over there and you take a sip and you sit it down away from your plants.
Hey, you'll be fine. I poured a beer in a fucking plant before.
No, it's
okay.
not gonna hurt it.
And on purpose. Though.
But if it was grape soda,
yeah.
Then
no, I've done Gatorade, beer.
On the plant. It's like fucking next to it,
Yeah, just leave it there. It'll attract the fungus gnats.
It'll get all the fungus gnats over there that I'm sure you have from having a bunch of empty beer cans in your garden along with a bunch of dead leaf.
Hey, can I bring something serious to the table, though?
No.
Yes.
This is
yes,
serious.
please.
This is dead serious.
Okay, this is dead serious. Okay, so don't smoke in your plants with tobacco. Tobacco mosaic. I'm not done. Tobacco mosaic virus will nuke your plants if it gets in there, and it'll take out 1,000 square feet, 10 square feet, one plant. Don't do it. I know everybody does it. And people want to smoke. But we don't do it in agriculture at all because it will nuke your plants if you get it.
Wow. Yeah, and wash your hands if you smoke before you touch your plants.
And after you go to the bathroom.
Tobacco products. You could smoke a joint.
Oh, joints are fine. There's no tobacco
He's
mosaic.
talking about blunts
What's
and
a blunt?
cigarettes.
Yeah, what if it's a blunt?
Yeah, cigarettes, no.
Well, of course, when I'm smoking cigarettes while I'm doing my gardening, it's just like what can alcohol do? Like what alcohol, what can it do?
It can kill your plants. What do you think it can fucking do?
Yeah, please don't drop any heroin on them.
Don't pour any alcohol on your plants. Heavy
no,
tea.
not on it. It's like next to it.
Yeah, then that still it doesn't matter. Don't pour any alcohol anywhere around your plants.
Give me the sign, Horty.
Go ahead, man. Boom.
Right.
He gone.
the big cane.
Shout out to Blur. Hopefully your asshole's healed.
Blur. That must be Filipino for annoying.
Extreme.
Rick the Ruler, what's going on? Don't
Rick's
worry,
watching
Rick.
porn.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we need to settle down a little bit, reel it back in, help people with their grow.
Yep.
Rick.
Whoa, him too, dude. I don't have any kids for a reason because of that shit.
We'll get Rick back.
I don't know. Maybe dial 911. You called the wrong number.
Is Rick okay?
I don't think so.
Jaime. Jim.
It's Jamie.
Hey, it's Jim.
What up?
Hey, I got a herm question. I had a plant herm at 6 weeks and seed my entire room. Is BHO the only option now?
Yeah, or magical butter. Or yeah, extract.
I mean, I've got superior ventilation, so everything is thoroughly seeded.
Wow.
All right. Well, that means that all that pollen is still in all that ventilation.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, in between each the harvest, you're gonna have to get wicked wild. Look at Optic Foliar, a product called Switch. It will render most pollen inactive when you spray it on a female plant. But that much pollen everywhere.
Yeah, you got
a simple remedy,
a
a lot of rubbing alcohol, spraying it through it, trying to dehydrate it and kill it. But I mean, you're gonna end up with seeds probably for a couple years. Not all seeds.
What about should I keep running it to schedule to BHO it, or should I chop it now?
You should probably get a dust room. Maybe two.
Dust rooms on your intake so you don't bring any pollen back in.
If you have a charcoal room.
If you if you have a charcoal filter in there, what you could do is flip your charcoal filter over, have it blow into the fan blow into the filter.
That's a great idea.
And put a dust shroom on top of it, because the oil in the dust shroom will catch all of that pollen that's being circulated in the room and trap it in the oil so that it doesn't get on your plants. It's kind of like using your charcoal filter in combination with a dust shroom to help pull any of the toxins like powdery mildew any mold, mildew, pollen in the room. It will stick in the filter, and it won't keep getting blown around your room and get on your plants.
And outside of running it into some type of extract, I mean, you can start a seed company. I know certain seed companies from Amsterdam that are very popular. That's the way
what
they
would
started.
I call it? Pollen Chuckers Are Us?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's a great name.
With like a little giraffe on there, like it was Toys R Us style.
Heavy T, Horty Chris, and Jim's Pollen Chucker.
Yeah, Pollen Chuckers.
I'll invest, bro.
I'm down.
I'll invest. Actually, our guys up here are going to send you an investment. Greg, what do you got for Jim?
Well, yeah, we'll send you both of our products, the Biofilm Buster and the Unleash, for your next growth cycle. Obviously, we wish you the best of luck with that.
What's he going to get with the Unleash?
So the Unleash is an extremely diverse root inoculant that you apply in unison with your organic fertilizer, and the Biofilm will be there to clean up your irrigation system, whatever that is. I know we didn't touch on that.
And just a real quick question, because you asked, should you let it keep going? How far into bloom are you?
I'm about to start week 6.
So you're pretty deep. Are you seeing a lot of trichome production? I mean, is it getting frosty?
I mean, I'm frosty as hell. I sent you pictures, Horty Chris, on your Instagram. I'm
because we don't have anything better like a show to do.
I'm not allowed to look at my Instagram during the show because then I get yelled at by Heavy T.
I mean, the nugs are fat. They're just seeded now. Before the herm went, I mean, I got 8 pounds of mass out of 8 pounds of plants in there. I mean, it's huge. Everything's staked, and it's just full of seed now.
I mean, you can let it. I mean, you're in week 6. Yeah, maybe go another week or so. If you see that it's continuing to produce trichomes, let it ride as long as you can. And then another benefit of that is those seeds that you have won't be immature. They'll be mature, and you never know. I mean, there's a lot of shit that was pollen chucked throughout the days that is now clone-only strains that ended up being great shit. So you might end up with some seeds that are viable. But yeah, I would say at this point, I mean, the prices are so low on cannabis. If you have seeded cannabis, you might as well go ahead and just extract it.
Yeah, just work for the phytodiversity.
Unless you know someone in deep Mississippi.
Oh man! Should I start the flush now then? Instead of waiting until week 7, should I just start flushing now?
Well, it depends. If you want to have viable seeds, you need to let them become mature just like you would a flower. So, you're going to pull down now and have a bunch of immature seeds and a bunch of seeded duff?
Now, right?
Yeah, but no, not necessarily. I mean, just the seeds aren't all going to be herms. You could end up with a seed that is really strong. I mean, it just really depends. But yeah, go ahead and start flushing now. I mean, that way over the next week or so, if you see that they aren't really starting or continuing to grow or produce trichomes or resins, then you know that you've already started flushing. I wouldn't wait to see if you're going to find out. Just start flushing. And if it continues to produce, let it ride and keep flushing, and then just cut it down a little early.
And you're saying cut the whole room down and alcohol out the room because there is going to be pollen.
Oh, yeah, you're going to end all your fans, if your room's sealed, your air conditioner all inside of the AC radiator that's inside of there, that's got pollen in it. There's pollen all through that thing. You're probably going to need to take it apart and clean it out with alcohol spray.
Yeah.
Okay.
And before you do the BHO and blow up your neighborhood, just... like, for real. Like, I've seen some amazing things. You said week 6. Like, we cut down rooms early purposely around week 6. And you could take those buds right now and get yourself a Sub-Zero deep freezer. Deep freeze them. Do an ice wash on them. And what I would do is do like a 25 micron extraction. Take that. If you have access to a freeze dryer is the best way, really, overnight.
I use dry ice, and I have a closed-loop butane or BHO system.
I know, but I'm trying to get you out of the butane.
He has a closed-loop system, though.
You know, that's the thing.
But for other listeners out there, go ahead, Jerome. Give them a solution.
Well, no, I work for a corporation now, quote-unquote, for like cannabis.
Oh, look at the big dick on Jerome.
Well, here's the thing. You know, when you get scientists in labs, I've actually been able to smoke some of the dopest fucking shit now that was like... extracted from water, and it was extracted THC crystals from rosin.
What?
Yeah. And it's just like the purest shit that leaves your banger like crystal clean with just like a easy swipe.
My banger's clean.
So I mean, the thing is like the BHO to me is like the old school way. Like even like people I know that grew up like in the 50s, like they were born in the 50s, will say, "Oh, I used to take fucking butane and blast it." That's old school. Like, for me now, it's all about trying to do things the healthiest and the most cleanest way. And you got to understand is like, there's stuff out there that's like the whitest, purest, the most killer shit you've ever smoked, and none of it's done with BHO anymore. That's really the tail end of an old school culture at this point. Right now, people are going in water, solventless, nitrogen, all these different things that are
Heat.
not going to be anything mostly a threat, really. Like, I've seen so many people fuck their lives up, burn themselves, blow up, all this shit doing that stuff. And the thing is like I've seen better stuff with just water and pressure and heat. Mm-hmm. No offense.
If you're going to be blowing BHO, you might as well start roofing.
One shingle at a time.
Hey, for real, man. There's some dope shit out there today, man. It's just, it's now that we're putting the research into it and it's becoming legal and people with real degrees and science behind it.
I got a real degree. It just happens to be in political science.
Hey, man, like some of these people, it's like a dosatron became popular because fucking people started putting it into their fucking grows. All of a sudden, no, that's been in our fucking car washes for 20, 30 fucking years, besides grows.
Oh, now you just let the goddamn secrets out. Calm down. Shut his mic off.
Yeah, but like I said, go ahead and start flushing it. Let it go another week or so. See if it's continuing to mature. At the very least, you'll get some mature seeds out of it. And like I said, you never know, man. You could end up with something that's I mean, I'm sure you have multiple strains in there.
I've got 4 strains in a 12x12, which was a mistake. I get it now, but I've got individual seed schedules.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so if you might have had a fucking crappy Hermie throw some pollen, and you might end up with some seeds that have the perfect blend of the traits of what you like about both of those strains or any of those 4.
He's trying to paint you a silver lining.
You might end up with something that you find that's dank and it's clone only, and you have something that's just unique. It's not like you're going to make seeds out of it, but you might find a gem in the rough. So start flushing it, give it another week or so.
Put it in your freezer when the zombie apocalypse comes.
Be stem?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. When you have an hermaphrodite, they're going to push out and show feminine traits, but they may not stay that way. They may be unstable, but you're not going to have the where you have a male and a female pairing of two plants. When a plant self-pollinates, you're going to be looking at basically what a feminized seed is, naturally feminized, not through colloidal silver.
Right.
All right, well, I got a good picture for you, Horty Chris. You might want to put it up there. It shows bananas, and it's a really good, clear picture of it.
All right. Well, hey, Jim, I'm going to send you, like I said, a swag pack from us, but you're going to be one of the beta testers here for Heavy T's Grow Show with the Unleash Root Inoculant as well as the Biofilm Buster. And I just got past a note that our boys Greg and Garth are going to hook up the rest of the callers tonight with both the Biofilm Buster and the Unleash Root Inoculant. All right, Jim. So I wanted to get some feedback from you. It's not going to be right away, but you start using the product, and after a month or so, you let us know how it works on your roots, how it works in your system.
Yeah, give us feedback.
Can I shout out my grow store?
Go ahead.
Premier Hydro in Belleville.
Go ahead. What was it again? One more time.
Premier Hydro in Belleville.
What's up, Premier Hydro? Much appreciation, Jim and Premier. Stay up, Jim. 562-653-0707. We are back to Rick. Rick, how's that?
Hey, what's up, man?
How's that daycare going?
Oh man, sorry about that.
It's all good, player. It's all good. Horty Chris is angry though. He left.
No, I'm not.
What's going on?
Hey, so my question is, how do you know? It's kind of similar. I kind of started listening in, but how do you know when to flush? Like, how do you time it to the trichomes? Because I've been looking at my trichomes and waiting for them all, half of them to turn amber. But how do you time the flush? And then do I really need to use like a flushing agent, or can I just
Okay, well, you got 2 questions. You need to use a flushing agent and when to actually start flushing. So indoors, if you're growing genetics that are popular, there is going to be empirical evidence available online or through your friends or whoever you got the cuts from or whoever you got the seeds from on a time frame that you should be looking for ripeness, right? So you shouldn't just be blind. If you are blind, let's say you don't have that resource or that being able to have that knowledge, it's about looking at what's going on right now. Looking at the pistils, the hairs on the plants, that's not a good indication of ripeness. pistils can become weathered. They can become red. They wilted for several different reasons. They could from over-fertilization, from wilting, from under-fertilization, from too close to the light. So that's not a real good indication of when things are ripe. True, though, when things are ripe, most of your hairs will start to wilt and start to wither a little bit, and they will be red.
He says he's looking at his trichome.
I know, and I'm also talking to the entire audience, not just the caller, but thank you.
Wow.
So looking at the actual trichomes, actually the heads of each trichome, if you look at them through formation, they're going to typically be clear, right? And as they start to ripen, they're going to become cloudy. They'll go from cloudy, a slight cloudy, to milky white into amber, and amber is degradation. Things are degrading that they're actually burning. For the most part, for peak potency, it's when you're about 60 to 75% milky white before you go to amber. As things start to be degraded, they will start to amber. But that, for me, I like the whole encompassing thing of cannabis, the flavors, the aromas, the everything, and and the maturity. If I let it go where I start to see some amber heads, I tend to find a richer flavor and aroma, and that's what I really,
as well as maybe a little bit heavier buzz,
maybe a little bit more couch lock.
Yeah, which I like. So I'm always like, yeah, let it go.
So you should be looking at the trichomes like that, but that's what you're looking at. Add something, Horty.
Well, if you and so you want to know, when do you start to flush? Are you in soil or hydro?
Hydro.
Okay, are you what kind of hydro?
It's recirculating deep water.
Okay, so you're in a deep water, so that doesn't have that much medium. So when you do start to flush it, it's going to flush pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
So what I would say is that when you're about, say, 50% to 100% of the trichomes are starting to look somewhere between a little bit milky and starting to get milky, you would probably want to start to flush. You probably only need about a week's flush in a DWC system. And I do have a few friends who gave me some tips on it. Is one thing you can do is go to right before you're going to switch to your flushing reservoir, like when your last res of nutrients is, you're going to change it out and you're going to start your flush.
Yeah.
Use something like a flushing agent from Botanicare, GH, FloraClean, ClearX, something like that, and actually water it through the pot that the plant is being held in, the medium that you have it in, because a lot of salts do build up in that little area, and that will help flush those salts into your reservoir that you're going to dump out, and it will also encapsulate those that are left behind so that they aren't available. So I would say go in and kind of flush each plant site from the top, and then immediately dump that water, and then go to your pH adjusted low ppm water. And you don't want to go with just straight RO, because you can't pH straight RO. It doesn't have enough material in it. So you put 1 drop of down in it and it goes to 4.0. Put 2 drops of up in it and it goes up to 9, and you're going back and forth.
That's cool.
Okay.
So maybe just go to something small. Use like a little beneficial, like a compost tea type thing, but not something organic, but just anything, even a small nutrient charge of like 100 ppm or something, and then pH it, and then just let that run through your system.
Okay.
Hey guys, I have a question. I'll maybe bring up a discussion.
You can call in next week.
Yeah.
All right.
562-6. No, go ahead.
Yeah. What's the
so? One of the thoughts that we've had, and scientists and laymen like myself have looked at, is that if you feed and you continue with the microbes, there again, microbes, I know I'm a microbe nut, but when you go into flush, you're basically kicking the plant right in the nuts. You're hurting it. It's basically stopping, So if you still have microbes attached, and the microbes are in good size there, when you do that, they will continue to use up all that stuff you don't want in there. It's just, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but we've had some discussions, and I think it does.
No, for sure. They'll probably eventually, if you can flush it out good enough, I'm assuming that they would not be able to use any of that, because there wouldn't be any
nothing
left.
In there. Okay.
So they're going to use what's left as well. But if you're in soil or cocoa or something with a lot of medium, a lot of nutrients get bound in there, and they can build up over time. And so at the end, when you do that, you are stressing the plant. But we want to induce stress at the end because it makes the plant sweat harder, put out more THC.
It's like inducing drought on grapes.
Right. We want to give it that little, that stress to make it just overproduce.
Well, think of it this way for the listeners: is the flowers are the reproductive organs of the plant, and the main driving force of the plant is to reproduce. So the plant is producing flowers, which is a surface area to catch pollen. If it doesn't catch pollen, it's going to continue pushing out all of its energy, not to keep the foliage alive, not to keep the stems alive, to keep the flowers alive,
to recreate.
And more surface area in hopes of catching pollen
and more trichomes to become as sticky as it can.
At the end of the life, and we could dramatically basically tell the plant in a dramatic fashion, your life is ending. The nutrient is gone now. All this is gone. What the plant is going to do, if it still has not been pollinated where it's going to seed, is to keep its reproductive organs alive, which is the essential oils, which is the bricks, which is the terpenes, and push it out. And they're going to utilize the nutrient that has either been stored or it's producing through glucose of the photosynthesis process to push that out in the same way.
Yeah.
So ideally, you want to kill the plant slowly and leave the flowers alive. But once the process of death has reached the flowers and you get a yellowing or a decomposition of the flowers, it's too late. And that's that amber of an indication that the trichomes are ambering, so the degradation has started.
Cool.
And you may start seeing yellow leaves or chlorotic leaves, and those are falling off. But if that chlorosis reaches the buds, you're shit out of luck. Because now you got some downtown Julie Brown and you're roofing.
Right, or you end up with yellow sugar leaves in the flowers, and then when you go and trim it up at the end, you've got yellow leaf all in your flower. So you want to avoid that as well.
Yeah.
All right. Alberto?
Thanks for that, guys.
Or is this Rick? This is Rick.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick. Rick the Ruler, you got some of the Unleash Root Inoculant. Thanks to Unleash Organic at Instagram. Go give them a follow.
The biofilm for your reservoir.
And the Biofilm Buster, along with a swag pack from Heavy Tea. Muchas gracias, Rick. Smoke weed every day.
And make sure you report back to us on how that works for you, especially the biofilm buster in a DWC.
Right on. I totally will.
All right, brother.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
I think that Albert has a question. That's why I had Albert written down. He has a question about this product. Albert.
Hey, what's going on, my friend? Yes, I got two questions.
Okay.
So, the first one is, is there a sign to know when I need the microbes, or should I be using it all the time? And then my second question is if the guy could sell me on why Unleash is better than the other.
Have you been listening the last 3 hours?
Damn. Yeah.
When to start using microbes? That's a good question.
From Jump Street, right?
You would not believe what it will do to rooting. It doesn't make sense to me why it does, but it does rooting. Transplant shock is virtually non-existent because the plant is not shocked. It's got it going. The factory's moving, man. So, yeah, I mean.
Off Jump Street, as soon as there's roots.
Yeah, as soon as there's roots.
And I'm sure in cloning,
I think even before roots. I've done cloning.
In cloning, the reason that it would work so well, even though, theoretically there's no root, is it's still probably colonizing the plant surface that's in the cube that you're rooting in or the machine, right?
Yeah.
So it's keeping the bad bacteria, the dampening off, the pythium, all of that stuff from colonizing that area so that it keeps it pretty much sterile from bad things that can kill your clone.
This guy is smarter than he looks.
Oh, my God. Is that a backhanded comment? Don't worry, Horty.
Face for radio.
Face for radio, dick for porn.
We've seen the Laffy Taffy in plenty of industry people's mouths. Albert, thanks for calling in all your swag pack and biostimulant Unleashed products going out to you, doggy. Michelangelo, ¿qué onda?
Is it union time?
Michael.
How you doing?
What up, doggy?
So I had a question about N nutrients. I'm about week 6, and I'm trying to figure out what should I be giving my plants, what shouldn't I be giving my plants. I hear Moab, cold bloom, all this stuff.
A finishing product, Htgs or less is more.
Well, I mean,
get
how
on
long
the
is
microphone.
your
It ain't your first time.
How long is your strain supposed to run for, in particular? How many days?
8 weeks.
8 weeks, so 56 days?
62 days.
62.
Higher math.
That's
whatever.
almost 9
weeks. Shit.
Higher
Made me
math.
think I was wrong.
Thanks for the algebra teacher.
So, here's the thing. You're in week 6. Are you at the end or beginning?
End.
End of it? You're already too late to ask that question. You're already weaning stuff down into the regiment. So typically that end of week 6 going into week 7, you're already cutting your nutrients back typically down to about 60 to 75% of what you've been feeding at peak weeks, which were 5 and 6. And in 8, you're basically flushing. So the next round, what I would recommend is once you get to the weeks 5 and 6, you want to be at your peak weeks of your PK boosters in essence. So if you're using Moab, 1 to 2 teaspoons per 5 gallons. I would start out at 1 teaspoon. Cool Bloom powder from GH is typically the same, or 1.25 grams per gallon. If you're using a lot of different products, if they're particular products that are 1 to 4 mils max or 4 to 8 mils max, typically you're going to look for a ppm change on a 700 scale of about 200 to 300 parts per million. Some of them go up to about 400 parts per million, but you're not going to see a swing of more if you're looking even on an EC scale of like 0.5, 0.6, adding a peak PK booster of any type. So, you know, just pick one that's right for you. Monster Bloom, all those ones that are in the 50-30 range are all very relative to each other. They're different color. That's about it. Some of them
lower
may
your
have
base
B1.
nutrients by a few hundred ppm.
Well, you say that, but I mean, here's the thing. If you're using a lot of different bacteria and microbes, like you're saying, it's very hard to overfeed your plant. At your peak weeks, if you have a healthy garden, you're pumping those things to the max, getting a little bit of leaf or tip burn.
But you just ramp it up, though. You don't start running before you walk. You don't go in there and be like, I'm just going to add this bloom booster, and then burn your fucking plants up.
But like I said, if you have a garden that's already, you know, thriving at that point, you're not having a garden that's bullshit at that point and trying to give it a PK booster. Here's the thing, is like, if you got a fat ass dude like me running a goddamn marathon, you're not going to give me a pizza and a fucking beer before the finish line. You know what I mean?
I take my fucking protein powder before
So here's
bed.
the thing. If you got an athlete, you're going to give them something that's going to cut down on maybe something that gives them muscle cramps or hydrate them.
Yeah, eat
so
a
here's
banana.
The thing. What I'm getting at is if you got a healthy athlete going to the finish line, you want to go ahead and try and peak them as high as they'll go. Getting a little bit of tip burn, especially in the bigger fan leaves, isn't going to be detrimental to the plant's health. You want to push that plant to its limit. You want it to get it to produce not only essential oils, but you want it to get as much weight as possible. And the thing is you know, if you can't like relate that to just any common knowledge, meaning if you're working out, do you work out and press 200 pounds every single fucking day of your life? No, you try and increase that supplementing. Like you said, you gradually increase or decrease things. You don't want to just jump from one extreme to the other no matter what you're doing.
No, it's shock.
The owner of Moab is a good friend of mine, and he would tell you that when you first start to use it, and as you use it, to lower your base EC a little bit when you add it, and it's more so because the NPK values, when you add something that's that heavy in the 50-30 range like that, you can cause lockouts and other things that happen because of the total overall NPK based on what your base is, like in your bloom formula. So when you first add it, just lower your EC a little bit and replace it with the bloom booster. And then the next application from there, you can increase the bloom booster a little more, but just have the base a little lower so you're still ramping up and getting more of that available to the plants.
Well, Moab specifically states 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons is a low dosage rate, and 2 teaspoons per 5 gallons is their peak rates. So at 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons,
your base nutrients a little bit.
All I'm saying is I've used it for a very long time.
I was one of the first people ever to use it. How about that?
Well, I've never lowered it, and I've got more pounds per light than anybody at the station.
There it is.
And I came from a motherfucking garden.
All right, turn them off.
There it is. Well,
hey,
listen.
Listen. Before you guys start whipping out those 4.5 inches, let's just calm the fuck down. And if you want to use some Unleashed Fruit and knock that, you're going to get to, Michael, because I'm going to send you some of the Unleashed I'm gonna send you some of the Buster biofilm of Horty's and Jerome's bowls.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna be doing some grand prizes tonight. But did you know what, Michael? I want to tell you and the rest of the listeners about a new product or an existing product. It's from Horticultural Lighting Group. T here. I've talked about habit building and cognitive biases a lot. And I don't know what that has to do with this live read, so I'm going to skip over this part. Simple. It means a lot to show up. So the more you show up, the more you smoke weed. The more you smoke weed, the better you are. But two words to remember in lighting. It's quantum boards. It's the future of lighting. It's by HLG. That's the Horticulture Lighting Group. Quantum boards will power gardens across the world in record numbers in the near future. This is your 1,000-watt HID replacement. We've seen electric bills cut by over 50%. Quality and yields bypassing the current norm. They have ready-made fixtures like the HLG 550 and the Photon 450. They also have do-it-yourself kits so you can save cash and learn. So now's your chance to show up to something that will benefit you. That's right. Get the street smarts, drop the biases, do the trial and error. You'll never turn back. Go to horticulturelightinggroup.com. It's horticulturelightinggroup.com. Master your time. Horticulturelightinggroup.com. Michael,
and you may get a
where is your browser right now?
What was that?
Horticulturelightinggroup.com. All right. Hooked him up. Did we hook him up? These guys are like, bow, bow, bow. All right, turn these guys back on real quick. Okay, guys, this has been one heck of a show, and I really appreciate you coming in. We got a grand prize coming up, and we're going to hook him up with some Unleashed Root Inoculant and some Biofilm Buster. But I don't want people to be remiss. They got to go over and follow you at Unleash Organic on Instagram or on Facebook at Unleash Organics. And go to the website. It's aquabellaorganics.com. Garth, if you could leave our listeners, we've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I know we've got a little safe. We had a lot of safety meetings.
Mm-hmm.
But something about your guys' product or about growing that you want them to really, really stick with. You want it to really stick with them. What would it be?
Use it.
All right, you're a fucking goddamn.
Yeah, that's fucking.
You're goddamn both of them for me.
Fascinating.
Can you hold up your watch and be like, you want this watch? Then use the Unleash.
That's the grand prize question, actually. The grand prize question is...
Hold on. Greg has something to
Before you blow it.
Uh-oh.
The grand prize question is...
Can you
what type of watch is our main man... Tomato face wearing?
I could punch you right now.
Yeah,
you could. But it'd be on film.
You could.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be the first person.
The reaction would be on film too, so it'd be fucking epic. It'd
But Greg.
Wow.
Greg.
Yes, get his voice back on the radio.
Yeah, get Greg back here. Follow it back around, Greg.
More than happy to.
If I own a shop, which I do, but if I'm listening and I own a shop and I want to check out your products, how do I get a hold of you? Where do we go to buy this?
Well, you could give me a direct call. There's one hydro store that I've managed to get our product into. That's First Hydro up in North Hollywood. But if you're interested to hear more, especially as I said earlier in the show, we have a really good microbiologist who's more than happy to walk everyone through the kind of science of it. So if we haven't kind of gone into enough detail, then certainly give me a call at 310-913-8381, and I'll be more than happy to answer.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to give a shout out to Monster Gardens. They are one of our distributors. They have a lot of 2-ounce bottles that you can. They will give you, and you can use it and try it on a couple plants, and I think you'll be quite impressed.
I appreciate vendors that support their retailers as well. So shout out to Monster Gardens and First Hydro.
That's right.
Up there.
MonsterGardens.com.
And if you wanted to know more, go to Unleash Organic on Instagram or Aquabella Organics. Guys, let's give Greg and Garth
thank you so much.
A round of applause. Garth, you can punch Horty in the dick afterwards. Don't worry,
that sounds like really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just aim for the tip of my shoe.
It's a very small target. So what type of watch was Garth wearing? We mentioned it right away and referenced it a couple times. You want to hold it up real quick? We can't see the
Aluminium.
No, it's titanium.
Aluminium.
That's sorry.
562-653-0707. The grand prize tonight consists of a gallon of Terpinator, some of the Unleashed Root Inoculant, and the Biofilm Buster, as well as some Granddaddy pads, a truncheon and pH meter from Blue Lab, the entire line of Mission fertilizer, and some smart pots, as well as a Nanolux double-ended 1,000-watt bulb.
Damn.
By MaxFire.
That's swag.
DFZ Radio.
562-653-0707. You dig?
7-7 L code, riding down the west coast. Candy paint dripping cause I just got a fresh coat. California raised me, an LA baby. The Chevrolet raisin, scraping on Dayton's, riding down Rosecrans. Get with the program, call me the drone man. The hydros potents, got your eyes low, lower than the ocean. Just west coasting through the coast with the potion and the best dro to smoke. The baddest bitches, girls in bikinis with ass and titties. The hustle game easy, you just can't believe till you see me on TV. Drive down the wrong street, might see the tech smoke. Hop in the ride and let's go to the west coast. This life is like a movie. You meet a model bitch, then you fuck her like a groupie. California, 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 yeah, the county of LA. California, California, Compton, California, yeah, the city where I was raised. Second son to Eazy-E, so don't be amazed. Same nigga, same flow, same mind frame. I'm all about the Lucci. Fuck minimum wage, cruising through these Cali streets, smoking on this OG. Cash rules everything around me, I need more cream. West Coast, get it in. What the fuck you think? Saying I'm riding with you, really though, this money in the bank. E3 hotter than the California forecast. Burning up these tracks, nigga, I need more cash. Yeah, I'm a bona fide hustler. Fuck with my family or cash and I'ma cut ya. Real G's get it, that's only the obvious. Go against us, you know you facing the consequence. I love my state, but I really hate the politics. Better keep stepping, buddy boy, in a pile of shit. Yeah, in a pile of shit. E3, get it in, nigga, I'm live as shit. 3, 2, 1. California, yeah, the county of LA. California, California, California. What else can I say? California, A, in the county of LA. Just me and Mary J. As the world keeps spinning, like gold 100 spokes, engine running, Chevy gunning down the coast. Just let it roll. Who doesn't love to see a 6-4 hop down the block, banging Eazy-E and Pac? Motherfuck the cops. I drove in my ride, but I ain't even tripping. It's another summer night and about to get the dipping. It's California, A, got some beautiful women. Gotta see it for yourself, it's such a beautiful vision. Palm trees, palm weed, won't you ride with me? West Coast in, floating through these Cali streets. Cruising down the boulevard in the late night. Sunset to the daylight, we take flight. Lights, camera, action, fast cars and jewelry. Models and groupies, we film in a movie. It's a motion picture, everybody's a celebrity. Won't you take a picture? It's a motion picture, everybody's a celebrity. Won't you take a picture? Latin girls, Asians, black girls, Jamaicans, white girls, they all on vacation. Pop another bottle, yeah, we buy 'em by the case and we spitting big faces. California, 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 yeah, the county of LA. California, California, California. DFZRadio.com.
Hey, I'm in the zone. Dude, this shit is awesome.
Hey, Dr. Duff, are you signing up for another one of those internet dating sites after your divorce?
Nah, I'm just ordering these freaking douchebags from China here. Just gonna be saving a lot of money on it. About $1 a bag.
Did you say douchebags?
Yeah, they're pots. They're fabric pots. They're, made in China. They save $1 a bag from all the other...
Oh, it sounds like an imitation smart pot or something.
Yeah, save $1, but, I'm pretty sure these douchebags are gonna work.
Dude, I had a buddy of mine who used those same douchebags. He bought them direct from China. It killed his whole garden.
Bro, what? So, I'm better off spending that extra $1 on a smart pot?
I'd get a smart pot.
Don't be a Duff man. Make sure to buy the original patented Smart Pot. Check them out at smartpots.com.
Sorry, Horty. Game over.
You're going to go get the green pad, see? That's what you're going to do. You're going to go get it right now. Go on down to your local hydro shop. Tell them Shunny sent you. That's right, Shunny with the green pad. More CO2 in your garden. More carbon, more weight, see? You need to get that weight up to pay me back, see, Shunny? Go get the green pad junior. Put it in your cloning dome, see? You're gonna get some more roots faster. Cut days off your cloning time. More harvest year round. That's right, see? Activated by humidity. 35 to 50%, so make sure that's right, okay? Go to your local hydro shop, see?
That's right. Go there now. More root, more fruit, more fruit, more root.
That's right. Yeah. Meow. Meow.
Every Wednesday night from 6 to 10 Pacific Standard Time, who's hooking you up with the dopest grow knowledge and the freshest grow gear?
NBC's Grow Show. Thank you so much. I love it.
Hey,
every day.
Thank you for the birthday.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bring in the Riser Blast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
10, 9.
Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella. Chlorella's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits used in Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, the use with any growing medium or hydro system, its ideal use for transplanting, and the enhancement of your plant vigor in fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rhizoblast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
Boom! Happy birthday!
Hey, yo, this is Spanky Hayes, motherfucking Spanky Hayes, funny motherfucking Spanky Hayes. Shout out to DFZRadio.com.
Fuck going on, man? Nigga know I don't rap it, man. I'm talking about black carpet event type shit, man. We don't never stop at red lights at night, nigga. We don't never stop at red lights at night, nigga. 2 letters G and a D for all my right, nigga. 2 letters G and a D for all my right, nigga. And I'm sipping on Activist, big go to Sprite, nigga. And I'm blowing on Texaco, this shit came on a flight, nigga. And I'm so professional, tailor-made, precise, nigga. And I told my lad bitch that I love her, but I ain't gon' fight with shit. Way too much money on my mind, these dead white people. Nigga, how to lay you the blood, I'ma leave the height, nigga. Cushion authentic, that pathetic, but I ain't white, nigga. I heard you like the credit, you ain't rockin' real right, nigga. No. But jumped out the chain game with a lot of pain. I just want a bad nigga for the fame. Yeah, that big baby, she for the game. Stack a star, gotta maintain. Play the smart nigga from the start, going hard like this is my leg game. Yeah, bitch, I am LeBron Wade. Chopper, give your ass a blunt fade.
Yo, what up? I was just on my way over here talking with Jiggity Jerome about a little something. And he was like, yeah, why you hitting me, dog? Can I just tell the story?
No!
This actually, I met Jiggity Jerome. He was hitchhiking down the road, and I actually pulled up and picked him up, and he was astonished that I would actually pick someone up. And he was like, got in the car and was like, man, I can't believe you picked me up. How would you know I'm not a serial killer? I'll be like, because the chances of 2 serial killers being in the same car would be astronomical.
Oh, shit.
I didn't see that coming. That's good.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. All right. Other than that, we out. All right, go ahead. Only 2 people actually know what's going on.
Pick a line, guys. What type of watch is our main man
Gregorio, you're over there. You can't see shit.
Pick a line, 1 or 2.
I'm picking it.
All right.
1.
Larry.
Yo.
What's going on?
Not much, man. How you guys?
We're doing well. You listened to the entire show, right?
I certainly did.
You heard about Garth and his yachts and all of his ladies all over the world of all ethnicities, even though it bothers Jerome.
He'll get over it.
All right.
No, it's just the few.
What is the grand prize question, Horny Chris?
What type of watch does Garth have on?
Breitling.
Yeah. Wow. That's right, brother.
boys.
You just won the grand prize for listening to the entire show. You got hooked up with all the great products from our friends at Unleash Organics, Unleash Root Inoculated, along with the Biofilm Buster. I'm also going to send you a pH pin and truncheon meter from Blue Lab, a gallon of Turpinator, some of the Granddaddy pads. A complete line of mission fertilizer, a double-ended Nanolux bulb, and whatever else I said earlier.
Cool.
Lawrence, I need a soundbite so everyone else in the room, cállate la bocas.
Lawrence, every Wednesday night from 6 to 10 Pacific Standard Time, who's hooking you up with the dopest grow knowledge and the freshest grow gear?
The one and only Heavy Tea Grow Show.
Yes, sir. You dig. Thank you so much, Lawrence, and to all the listeners out there in the Duff Free Nation. And now it's time for events and news brought to you by Nanolux Tech. By the way, I want to give a big shout out to our guys at Unleash Organics, Greg and Garth coming through. Good sports. And you can punch Horty as much as you want. No one's going to stop you. Greg, no one thinks you're Australian. You're way more sophisticated.
That's true.
Yeah, you're way too pretty to be Australian. But anyways, let's do this. You guys got your checklist? Horty Chris does. Events coming up. Integrated Pest Management Workshop this Saturday will save you time and money. The DBS Lab, 1115 11th Street, Arcata. In California, June 9th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Cost is only $60. DBS stands for Dirty Business Soil. Owners Sarah and Joanna lead you through the process to help you create an IPM plan that suits your garden. Walk away with ideas for IPM implementation, as well as create your IPM sport required for state licensing. Space is limited, so call to reserve your spot, 707-633-8885. Horty Chris.
Well, you weren't going to tell them what they're going to learn?
They're going to learn stuff.
You're going to learn all kinds of stuff about pest monitoring and using dissecting scopes. So it might be worth the $60 to actually go. And then we're going to move on here. We have From Soil to Sold, Surviving the Regulated Market, June 22nd, 9 to 5 p.m. PST at the Rincon Beach Club in Santa Barbara, California. Join Forever Flowering Greenhouses, Emily, for advice on surviving the regulated era from industry-leading experts. Space is limited. Visit at Forever Flowering Greenhouses on Instagram for a link to purchasing tickets.
If you're not a Rincon local, do you get chased out of the meeting? Just like at the break?
It doesn't say.
News coming up. The Canopy Rivers, in conjunction with Canopy Growth, is offering up to $1 million to prospective micro-licensees under the proposed Cannabis Act, that's CA 45, of the upcoming International Business Conference in Vancouver, June 24th and 25th. But sign-up ends tomorrow to secure your spot. All right. Way to be on top of it.
Yeah.
Visit internationalcbc.com for more info.
MedMen Enterprises has signed a $53 million deal to acquire a Florida-based cultivator and the right to open up to more than a dozen dispensaries across the state. LA-based MedMen, which already operates 18 cannabis facilities in California, Nevada, and New York, acquired Treadwell-Simpson Partnership. For more info, visit mjbizdaily.com/LARF.
Earlier this week, it was announced that California State Senate Bill SB 930 clears the ways for banks for cannabis businesses. The bill proposes putting the Department of Business Oversight in charge of the banks and credit unions, specifically established to process deposits, withdrawals, and transactions by the state's budding, no pun intended, can-ass, because they didn't put a B on my paper.
Me either.
If approved, SB 930 will allow cannabis business companies to use a system of state licensed banks to pay rent, vendor invoices, and also buy state and local bonds. Read more at the California Cannabis CPA blog at californiacannabiscpa.com.
The Cannabis Business Owners Policy, Cannabop, creates property and liability insurance options for cannabis companies. With this option, it will make it easier for insurers to enter the market and fill coverage gaps for cannabis businesses. Developed by the American Association of Insurance Services, Cannabop is ready to offer a package policy that includes both liability and property coverage. Check out the rest of the release at prnewswire.com.
Yoruba Valley is proposing an initiative that would allow but not regulate medicinal and adult use cannabis. So that's where it ends for me.
In San Francisco, California has provided a preliminary checklist for permit applications for 2019. For more info, visit officecannabis.sfgov.org. San Rafael has completed a final adoption of an ordinance that will allow for the issuing of cannabis distribution licenses.
And Goleta is considering moving forward with the cannabis license ordinance. The city of San Bernardino has pushed back their cannabis application deadline from late May, which already passed, until June 25th. Visit sbcity.org for more San Bernardino information.
Alameda County has adopted an ordinance that will increase the total number of cultivation sites allowed in the county from 6 to 10. Well, that's fucking amazing.
Redwood City adopted an ordinance to start phase 3 of their cannabis program, which allows for commercial indoor cannabis nurseries to open in certain districts as long as you have $1 million liquid.
Well, you could always go to that meeting with that company that's offering $1 million.
Ojai is introducing an ordinance that will allow cannabis testing labs in the city. Recreational marijuana in Michigan is about to happen. Go to detroit.cbslocal.com. 140 people charges in Los Al crackdown on illegal cannabis business. They're fucks. Go to newyorktimes.com. Update, we can't figure it out. Philadelphia gets green light to study pot, treat opiate addiction. And thank you to everyone else. Our sponsors, our listeners, our guests tonight. Jiggity Jerome, Horty Chris, Marcos Pollos, always making us sound fantastic. Aaliyah, the Hebrew in the back. We appreciate you. God bless and see you next week. Other than that,
we out.